How many of you honestly look yourself in the mirror and say,
you are quick. All set up. I did 3 years ago. So on the quick question, I went and talked to Scott, and so in regards to my message, to normally I just deliver information from them. Since I want you to go on with that. So be it. So you just want to make sure everybody understands how to go to set it up. You have a. I do. I see. All right. Yeah, we were in there. Yep. The aluminum was 2,500 to 5,000. Wood board, 5,000 to 14. Flat. Or 45. To 12. Vinyl is 2,500. keeps that friendship. Yeah, yeah. And we are not talking about. But not officially. Yeah. Mhm. Pretty much. I thought there was a way that you could create multiple units within the Provia app, not the link, just in the app itself. I thought there was. What do you think? Nice. Now, yes, that'll work. They went with the like the goldish background. That's what you like. I would say less, so we don't go through color. There you go. When we print these out, we go through a lot of color. And then the red pen really pops. There you go. All right. Shares, like copy, mail, PDF. Next. And this to Corey. Oh, and I got a message from, while you're sending that to Corey, I got a message from Charlie, and they need a bunch of the, I guess that now, as well as the windows. And there was one other thing. Oh, the, where are you? Let me see. Okay. So that's what we're talking about now. Oh, those measure sheets, kind of like the inspection sheets. Yeah, you'd like a bunch of those. What do you know?
Door. Nice. When you have time, I really need to figure out how to, my training package is still open. Morning, Mr. Martin.
Good morning. How are you? Good. Oh. Sure.
I didn't come over to you.
Huh? That's because it changed. And this, how do you do like multiple units?
It doesn't look like it adds it up together, but when you go to print it out, sometimes I notice when it'll do it together. I know it doesn't look like it, but it will.
How is that? How do you do it? Like, the last time what I did is I just went back out. Oops, not that far.
Go to that door and then
I
bend it in.
did the job, and then if I go back in, and then just switch straight. Here, I think I put in the same job name. That's job doing what people that's work.
I've done that a couple times. Nice Sal.
Thank you. Morning.
I muted it this weekend. Tell me, yeah, I muted everything.
Yesterday wasn't St. Patty's Day. I thought it would have been more. Are you sick? You gotta tell me you're sick.
Oh,
I don't believe it.
I thought about it, but I can't lie.
That bad thing called farm comes back. What happened? Did you not show up to a job?
No. Last night, I, for whatever reason, couldn't sleep at all. I laid there and tossed and turned and all this shit was going through my head. So I woke up this morning because I didn't want to get to sleep. I woke up at 3 o'clock and it's more pizza. Didn't help at all. So I woke up this morning and I'm like, dude, I got 2 appointments today. Can I skip the meeting and sleep? No. He thought about it for a minute, then I think that's probably when it was like St. Patrick's Day, probably went out drinking and it was over. That's not it at all. I did go out yesterday, but I mean, I had, we had champagne for brunch, and I had a beer, one bar, then we went to another bar and I had another beer. That's it. So I was absolutely not drunk.
This guy thinks I'm not drunk, right? You know, this thing,
Right?
I had this weekend off. I went on an appointment on Friday. Didn't have any, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I have a 3-day weekend. And he gives me one, and I look at it as I'm driving, and I see it's a one-legged Asian.
Ah! So
I
this,
didn't pull away from the house. This is how, I'm not gonna lie, this is how enraged I was. Once I didn't sell a job, I literally couldn't stop. I was so, I was just, I felt,
you're a bit melodramatic.
I was,
Are you gay?
I have some gay tendencies, but I'm not, I can be a little bitch, too. But no, I'm not. Hey, I'll be honest, like, I'm just tired of losing. I am.
I know, right?
I
Listen to what happened to me the other night. Oh my God, this sucks. So I had an appointment in Poway. So I go to the appointment in Poway. My next lead said San Diego. So I just headed back south. I didn't think that, I didn't put it in my, GPS or anything. I figured I'll just head south and then I'll go.
figure it out from there.
Yeah, then I was gonna go home, get something to eat and go to my appointment. So I get home, right? And then I put it into my GPS and it says an hour and 15 minutes. I'm gonna get there like 6:15. I'm like, what the fuck, this can't be right. And so I'm like, what the fuck? So I get on the road and I start heading. And then it's like, it was in Vista. It was in Vista, right? So I'm in bumper to bumper traffic. And so I'm like, I call the call center and I'm like, I'm not gonna get there until 6:30. So I'm like, I'm up back to Poway. I'm back up to Poway where I was already. Had I known, had I not seen San Diego, I learned a valuable lesson. It's like, don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Put it in your GPS first. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm heading back up there. And then the call center called us and calls in and he cancels his appointment. So now I have to sit in traffic coming all the way back.
Hey, Sam, so what were a lot of things?
Oh, yeah, it's like some I was trying to do it.
My boys. You're not hungover. You didn't even fucking.
I mean, the big debate, of course.
Be a fucking winner, Christine.
Positive mental attitude.
You should have seen the one, Justin, I made him go with the appointment.
Who is it? Who's on there?
And they have a cinder block wall.
Oh, he told me about this.
And I was like, within, no joke, within 60 seconds, I'm like, wow. Oh, let's see, we're gonna know what's going on. It kept going on, and this lady, she fought so much. But I got the car. It was, I mean, I did learn just perseverance and like, no matter what, it would have been a job, but he would have told me to walk. But we went towards the what?
The light.
The line, the whys, and the faith, right? And I wanted to show you inspection side of it. Yeah. See how far we took the inspection? No, I know. That's what the whole purpose was, not the fact that we wanted to sell that job, we definitely didn't. Yeah, it would have been, well, you know, I mean, I had a job, and I never walked in, so. Yeah, wow, the windows is, my one-legged Asian on Friday, I spent 3 hours, or 2 hours and 45 minutes. What's up, man? Do a bracket here.
I will.
Hey, Jerry. Oh, bracket? Yeah. So we need to write it. Stop. Congratulations.
I did that.
Hey, yeah. He forfeits. He forfeits. My next one, all my training practices. Well, yes, I was watching water polo. So if you rapid kid, they get ejected and they got rolled with me throughout the entire game. He had a bad call. It was first of all, it was a bad like call in the ball, it wasn't his ball. And then all I was doing is look at the ref and shake his head. And he ejected him out of the game. I got up, I'm like, he didn't say a word, but I am on him. He had opened up his mouth. And then he started popping off after. We get ejected at that point, you just have to go sit down for that play, come back in. Mouth and arm.
Once they make up their mind, they've got their smaller, they never know.
Scott, you're a shit. Las Vegas. Qualified. No, well, they were one.
I've got a couple days, yeah, I've had a couple days where I've not. Yesterday I had a lot of computer.
Good. Good to see you back, Mr. 500.
So we haven't go to here yet. What's that? That's why I haven't go here.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Morning, man. How are you? Stallion? All right. Move this big boy up here.
Dude, this is making me ill. All this movement.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh my gosh.
Can you actually see stuff?
Yeah, now I can see.
They do if they get rejected. There you go. So there's your first. Okay. So what you can do? Let's say, no, you still sorry. Fine line. Here. As long as you can do
You can hang out if you like to. I'm just doing a little.
year and a half. So as long as you do the same thing, but you have to choose. Front door, side door, door one. So it's creating. Okay, see.
How are you?
Hey, Ron, here a second.
Well, you know, just getting an entry on this. This is actually Safari.
Oh, I did see that. Well, yeah. So you see.
Yeah, screenshot that. I get started in 1 minute here. Appreciate it. Hold on. That's the forfeit. That's the forfeit. Dan looks really nice today. Hey, Dan, you want to go to All right, good morning, everybody. All right, so one more time. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. There we go. All right. So, anyways, want to welcome you to the 18th of March. So, as we know it, March Madness is in full effect. We're down to the Final Four, so we will talk about that in a few minutes. Looking at pretty much go through numbers real quick, kind of where we're sitting at. Right now we're at 924,170. Closing percentage is 31.7. RPL is 4380. Average sales 16,824, and rescission percentage is 2. So again, pretty good start. Now, anytime we get like we had a change coming through it, they kind of look at the traction we picked up. That's pretty damn good, actually. So when you look at what we're doing based on the limited time we've been doing it, there's we're hitting pretty good. You know, a couple good days. I easily have have a $2 million month this month, so we just need to again focus on what we can control and do our absolute best. So today we're talking about some strategies and techniques to help get us there. So that's what I want to make sure we're focusing on. Talk about some of the outliers here. We look at it, Sean, 163, 450. Congratulations, buddy. Good job. Second is Mr. Ryan, which is zooming in. I got him on he's on a special project there. 163,019. Good job, Ryan. Jeremy, 152,969. Good job, man. Ron, 102,152. Good job, buddy. Mike Hauser, 82,265. Again on target for both. Dan Lewis, 80,963. Nice job. Closing percentage, Sean, 62%. Oh. So how the hell did you get beat last week? Oh, wait, sorry.
You want the answer or no?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Told you it wasn't fair.
All right. Ryan, 42%. Nice job, my man. Jody, 40. Good job. Jeremy, 38. Good job. Mark Moore, 38. Good job. Ron, 35. Good job. And then we got Dan Lewis at 33. Good job. We're getting some good numbers. Look at that, some good solid numbers coming through on just the 18th of the month. We already have people in the bonus category again, so things are moving. So again, there's good signs are only looking up. Scott and Jose are going to be here at 10. They had something that was basically forcing them to go. I need to hit. Make sure the sound's up on this big boy real quick. Yes.
Charlie, that's gotta be you, my man. So when we look at basically, they're gonna come over and talk about some of the extra charges, miscellaneous charges, and then everything that's included, so we can hear it right out of the horse's mouth. So therefore we can go from there. Mark, why don't you come up? Okay. And Norman was here, right? Sure, come through real quick. All right, she grabbed everybody's contract? Anybody we're missing? It looks like you're working on one around.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hold on, let me get this thing linked up real quick.
Should I agree on?
Yeah. There you go. All right. All right, so what my goal today is just to kind of go over Provia and making sure that we're able to link nicely to Leap, get all the information, where do you go, how do you build it in Leap, so you can have it in the contract. So actually, I could do this and just show you the whole thing, but I'd like to see if anybody wants to volunteer the process. So what I did is I created a door, just a real simple single panel door under ViniQ. And what we'd like to do is be able to take that cell number as well as this information with the entry link number over to Leap. So how do we go about doing that?
Select all.
Anybody?
Select all. Tap it.
Select all, you can select all. That would be one, but how do you get the entry link?
Push that little button in the middle.
Oh, the number.
You talking about this right here?
No, I'm talking about that one.
You're talking about this right here.
So hit that.
Now, if I hit that, is that gonna give me an entry link number?
No.
So I need an entry link number.
You're
Well,
saying
then
it's
you have to
already
hit
sold?
upload.
No. Well, eventually I'm gonna sell it, but I need an entry link number so I can get it set up.
But we'll get an
I thought
entry
you-
link number until we sell it.
Yeah, that's what we're told.
Ideally. But let's just, okay, we'll go on the assumption, we confirmed that, yes, we have an agreement with a homeowner. But we still need an entry link number to be able to get it into Leap so we can put together the contracts. Okay, so
You sold it at this point, right?
we got the comment that we're gonna move forward with this.
You hit upload order.
All right. So then, this is what it's gonna look like, obviously, if you've been to anything link, this is what you're gonna see.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
That's in the website. That's if you go in the website, you can pull up that. But it'll also give you that entry link, so there's your entry link number. So there's two options.
Sorry, I missed it.
What's that?
How did you get that?
This is if you go into the actual entrylink.provia.com link. So if you go through Safari and you pull that up and you put in your password, you can actually pull up all of your projects. It'll give you a breakdown of everything, where the shipment and all that. If you've never been on it, I'll show you. I'm not gonna go through that today. But
Oh,
just,
entry link will price out some things that you have now.
correct.
So if you're trying to price out a guard window, say you went in, there's a guard window option. The app will not price out the login window, the entry link will. So for knowing how to navigate through both might be a bad idea.
That's right. Other than the photo, on the apps,
Just sometimes you do navigate, the customer got bigger picture, I don't know. It's just, really depends on what you want. Both of them work. The app is just more, in my mind, more user friendly. Correct. Okay, so you got your entry link, so you've gone to, you've uploaded it, you repopulate it, gives you your entry link number. So from there, now you're gonna go to Leap. So what is Provia not provide? Nothing transfers over yet until you click a few buttons, but the one thing that you'll learn is when you go in and you're building the contract, and I'll show you how to do that. So when you go into contracts, yes. Yeah. There we go. You drop out of that, click on Provia. Now we can do, and I'll go through it. You got your Provia entry link number. You want to add that. All right, since I don't have it memorized. Put it 529.
So there's no way to copy and paste that one?
You could.
If this brings everything over for you, is that the plan?
Correct. So when you hit add, when the contract comes over, you'll see it actually out of it. So this now shows up in your contract, so they can actually see breakdown of your door, the door location. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. It gives you options to choose from, but maybe none of those apply. So normally I'll just pick something, the door, and then we go down to additional details. You can put in, let's say it's master bedroom. You just type it in. Done. Done. So now that is in the contract. So when you actually go through it, we'll go through it in just a moment. Any questions on that?
So we don't hit that little thing and copy and paste it and stick it under customized anymore?
You don't have to, because this does it all for you.
But where's the price?
Good question. So then when you go back to contracts, go back to actually project. So what I do is I type it in. So I go to custom product. I'll type in this information. So let me click on it so you know what I'm talking about. So you're going to type in the price. Quantity is 1. I just put Provia door and I give a little bit of details. Now, if you wanted to copy and paste, you can copy and paste all that. But at this point, you already have it in the Provia door. So at this point, just add I just say laces to a 36 by 80 so they can correspond which one we're talking about in case you have more than one Provia door. So then you can put, another custom, you can add another one to it, or just add the different sizes or whatever.
If you only have one, you can put C Provia.
Correct.
You don't have to write it all out.
Correct. All right, so once that's done, go back, once that's done, then you should have it in custom. Unfortunately, in custom, it doesn't list anything, so there's nothing they're gonna see. So even when you create the contract, you're not gonna see anything. So that's one of the glitches. Question.
Actually, if you look at triple casement, double casement.
All right. So then what I do, real quickly, I'm just gonna click out of them. Project, Provia, next.
So, Mark, I would say, when I go to the spec page after I do the homework, I'll just ask them to like, what people like that. Or you can email it, I think it's phone by clicking square on top of it. And like, that. A lot of people on the airdrop opportunities, so they can see that. I asked for show cell price for Provia. So they'll have that there, so when we go back in, you can ask, okay, what was that price? You can put it right there.
There you go. So let's show you, let's just say 2 windows done, next. Back into it again. All right, so this is what it should look like. So you'll have your contract, which is really nothing, doesn't show much, that's it. Because you're not selling any windows, you're not selling any patio doors. So it's gonna be pretty simple. Doesn't have any, ideally, that's where the custom information would have been. But at least you wanna make sure that this is at least attached to the contract, so they have at least a good understanding of what they're getting. And then the price will show up.
So the price doesn't show up on there like it does when we copy and paste it,
And
right?
you're gonna put that in the custom right now, that's where your
Yeah,
price is gonna
no,
go.
I know, but I'm
And
just
that
saying.
gets linked to your, But just to save you time in the house, you're not sitting there basically flipping and basically flipping, but you can just put that entry link number in after you sell the job. Because you can price it, you don't really need that unless you're gonna, just roll through your stuff going the same way. By putting the entry link number in, it just will help, it'll shoot the picture up through there when they're looking through their contracts. Then they're not seeing basically a blank page on the front and then just a bunch of terms and conditions, which is scary as shit. So we want to make sure that picture's in there. So that way at least they have the detail when they're moving forward on that. Just a lot easier way to do it. And then like Kirby said, if he basically emails it or airdrops it right over to him, stuff works. That's what I did in the house I was with, Mike Pierce. I was airdropping the bid from, airdropping basically the screenshots of the pricing for this, couple that we were messing around with. And, yeah, but it was kind of nice because rather than trying to email it, we're screenshotting and airdropping it over. So they were getting it right on their iPads,
All right, so one more thing I'm just gonna show you real quickly. So let's say you created a door, but there's multiple doors. And you wanna all attach to the Provia app that we have, that normally where you'll go to actually create. Has anybody ever had an issue trying to create multiple projects or multiple units within the same project? Okay. So I want to go over that real quickly. So built a door, then all you're gonna do is you're gonna exit the job, you're gonna go back out, you're gonna go back into a new door. And I'm just gonna, for simplicity, as long as you put in the exact same job name, but change the unit, so the first one is ED1, second one is gonna be ED2. Hit finalize. Save. There we go. And so now you can create multiple units under the same name, under Mike, and then you'll see independently each price, retail price, and at the very bottom you see the total price. This is the one that you're going to carry over. You can screenshot all that if you want to, but once you've uploaded that into EntryLink, all of this is going to show up. It's going to show each door. Boom, 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 boom.
I have a question. Sometimes I'll build two doors because they're not sure which one they want.
Right.
So how do you delete one of
See where it says include on the green things? Yeah, green. Just touch the green thing.
And it disappears. If you go down to the bottom, you'll know. That's how you do it. So the total price changed. We eliminated it, I put it back on, total price goes back. If you don't want the door, you can always just delete it with the trash can, and it'll eliminate. Sorry. Any other questions on this?
So,
Jeremy's got a color that.
Okay, well, if it's the one-off, we can deal with that. Anything else? Was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
I'm having trouble. I'm putting an entry link number into the order and it's taking it back. Yeah.
To see how many minutes.
You don't have to listen.
That, it generally works pretty good for you if you listen, right? You were 2 for your last 3 now? Good job. All right.
So let me see where they're at, because I have a short time period and I don't want to wait. So where they're at. Make a quick call to Scott, then we are gonna move on if they're not.
Yeah. Because that's what I ended up.
Okay.
So.
All
The one you just did on the green. The other, I think, was it.
All right, so Scott will be here in a second. Let's talk about, real quick, there's some changes you'll see in miscellaneous charges, and there's some changes in some of the, I gotta steal the Wi-Fi back, don't I? All right. All right, so they're pulling in, so they'll be here in a second. Anyways, so you'll notice there's changes in your modifications. You look at modifications for the permit and engineering. And then I want to ask your guys' opinion on something. Because right now we put it so that way literally the margins don't get screwed up based on the base on it. You guys want to do permits and engineering as a pass-through, means there's no fee for service, but there's no markup on it? Or do you want to do it as where we're still making fee for service?
How much of a difference are we talking?
A couple $1,000. But what happens on some of the big ones, like say we have like multiple projects where it goes into it, sometimes our engineering cost is we're paying people to do their engineering. So there's sometimes where it walks into where it's kind of crazy. Then on the, like for the create and opening, we were getting our lunch aid on that too, because we were missing stucco, we're missing drywall. Sometimes we're running into shear walls. Does anyone know what a shear wall is? When you're, say, taking a wall and basically modifying an opening, so we're gonna take that from one wall to one wall. What they request us to do is fill back all the stucco and basically frame in like do lumber on the side of it to prevent it from trying to switch and shear the wall to prevent it from basically like 70 shear. Now it's something that is a lot more expensive because again, we gotta tear out all that stucco to get back down to it. We're gonna get drywall pops. You guys know what a drywall pop is? When you tear off sometimes stucco or some of the other aspect, then you'll see where you'll see the nail the drywall in, you'll see those pop, which means you've got to restuck it, you got to re-sand down, refinish all the draw on the inside. So there's things that happen that add cost into there that if we're not aware to, jack the cost of the job up in a hurry. Because if you have to go adding another 12 foot of stucco on a wall by basically 8 foot high, that adds to that cost pretty dramatically, right? So we were losing a lot of money on that detail. And to prevent from, the powers that be up above coming and raising our prices even more, Scott and I and Jose and a few others sat down and mapped out jobs, right? They tried to tell me what it was, and I said, bullshit, break out the price sheet. So they broke out the price sheet. We did 4 or 5 different modules of it. So I had them come in today to explain everything that's included on it. So that way we don't have to worry about, again, oopses or uh-ohs or ever have, it'll be basically 4 months into it, you see, we have to fight for your people first. I don't want that to happen, so making sure we're costed appropriately is a big deal to protect you, to protect the company, and protect the customer too. It's never fun to go back and have to ask them about it. So with that said, Mr. Scott and Jose, give them a round of applause, guys.
All right.
So what all?
There you go. All right, so I'm gonna hand out a sheet. And you'll see some things have disappeared from the miscellaneous charges. Things that really weren't necessary to be on there, like how much work can we do in large openings and board? Pierce done one of those. Yeah. So we got rid of some of those. Does everybody have one of these?
Give me one, I'll send it to the Orange County.
So. Someone playing basketball right above us. It's, so kind of the why behind it. Dustin probably touched on some of this, so this may be stating it twice, but obviously we need to stay profitable as a company. And some of our price points on a lot of these items, we were coming in most cases, well below what our margins needed to be. And in a lot of cases, because stucco is expensive, it's very hard work to do. It wasn't built into the pricing of what we were doing. So there were occasions we were actually losing money on jobs where, Dream Style as an organization was, say the contract was for 15,000, it actually cost 17,000 in labor, materials, engineering, permits, everything else that went into the job. And if you're losing money on a job, you don't stay in business for very long. So we have to make some corrections there. Also, there is chatter and there has been push about removing construction from a lot of the work that we do. And I think it would be a pretty safe assumption. None of us would like to see that happen, right? What do you think, Jeremy? It's how much would that limit you if you weren't able to accomplish the things that that customer wanted to do? Huge, a lot. That would be a huge impact. If we removed all construction jobs and we simply went to replacement windows and doors, that removes a big item that differentiates us from our competitors that are out there. Me being with Sears and being with Home Depot for years and years, if it involved cutting anything, we're walking away from the job. John and Mary, can you please have your contractor accomplish the items that you want that I've listed here, and then give us a call and we'll come take care of it. How many phone calls do you think I got from customers after they had a contractor come out and bid them to do the construction? That contractor is going to bid them to replace the windows and everything else as well. So I'm very sensitive to that I want you to continue to have that flexibility. I want us to grow as a company, and I want all of you to have as much opportunity as possible when you're in front of that customer. We can do almost anything. We just need to make sure we're charging the right amount of money for it. And do not be scared of these prices. It's, I think it may be Jeremy, your job. Damian Figueroa just went out, added some scaffolding, added some stucco work to be done. And it's not a big area on the house, about 100 square feet, added $7,900 and got the change order signed over the weekend. So adding $7,900 to a project. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Get with Damian and he'll let you know what it was. So I'm going to give you some backstory on that. Damian had originally gone out on his site inspection and told the customer, yeah, it's going to take this much work and this much work. And he called me up and I gave him pricing on the job of what it's going to cost according to what's on this sheet. He hired a Joe Schmo contractor, Chuck in a truck, to come out to the house, who bid him $5,000 to do the work. They got the wall demoed, and then Chuck came up to the customer and said, hey, this is a little more expensive than what we were originally planning to do. So we're going to have to up our bid to $8,000 to get the work done. So he immediately kicked them off of the property, gave Damian a call and said, hey, is your $7,900 bid still good? He said, oh, absolutely. So we are not priced out of the market when it comes to this stuff. To have an engineer and an architect and the permits on a job, you are going to be into it for $4,000 plus. We were getting $3,200. So every time we were doing engineering and architecture and permits, we were losing $800 after it was discounted. So again, you see where I'm going with all of this. And an engineer and an architect is not gonna be any cheaper for Chuck in a truck or anybody else out there doing the work. So you're gonna find these prices are pretty industry standard.
We have a hard time finding people that will take that small project. A lot of your architects and engineers want to do gigantic projects, but they may be $400,000 or $500,000 top, right? $100,000, $50,000 top, not small little projects like this. It's a pain in the ass to find ones that are loyal. It'll actually continue to keep doing that work in a time frame that's going to be one that we need. Just, I'll take them straight right before I came over here. I've been doing for the doctor I work for. And I went through 7 engineers trying to figure out somebody who would actually take on a job that small. And then it took forever because we were putting it on the file.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's not. Really.
So you guys are gonna see that it's, some significant price increases in some areas, but it is very in line with what you're gonna find out there in the industry, if they can even find somebody to do that work for them. So what I brought Jose along for is he can help answer any questions. When we decided what price increases we were gonna do to kind of set the stage for you, that involved Ed sitting at the table, me sitting at the table, Dustin, Jose, and Vinny. And we dissected every type of labor that is on here, and we costed it out. What are we gonna specifically pay for labor and materials? And Dustin and Ed's input, and then mine as well. We don't want to make this so hard that it can't be sold. But at the same time, we have to listen to the input from Jose and Vinny on, what is the accurate pricing going to be. So it was, a good 4 hours we put into this list of items with the 5 of us to make sure that we came up with accurate and defendable and reasonable numbers to be charging for these guys.
So just a few minutes ago, you talked about structural engineering, about cost and so forth, dollars.
About $4 grand. We were charging 3,200. Because I believe it was 5,000 divided by 0.6, or times 0.65, $3,200.
Okay, so
That's for an average one.
So what I'm seeing on the sheet here, that comes to almost $10,000.
So discount that job, what is it? $6,400. So if it's costing us 4,000, then that 6,500, you're taking into account that company needs to make some money on that. We need to pay out commission on that, all of those other items. So if you're at 4,000, that's gonna pay out 400 in commission roughly. So you're at 4,400. So that's not a giant margin right now. What is the margin that you guys are, I know you guys are familiar with some of this, but what margin do we have to be at for you guys to earn what you've earned on? There you go. So 35%, that's a minimum target number that we have. So if you want to really get into the numbers and dissect it, that's where that number comes from.
So if somebody has like a large span to a larger door, so now we're looking at basically $18,000 in cost before we talk about the door.
If that's engineering and architecture and permitting and all those other. Now, Ed is working on a program, and I'll let you talk about that when you're ready to talk about that, but that'll give us more off-the-shelf price. What would be a better way to describe that, Ed?
Where we would just take and say they have a small window in the door or a passage, 306 feet. And they're facing out to a nice view. They can't see it. So we want to go in there and take out 8 foot or 10 foot or 12 foot. Increments probably of 2 foot. So we would have a package price that would say if you're taking out 8 foot, it's X dollars. Taking out 10, it's X. So it's real simple to figure. And we would do pre-existing drawings, we would make up the drawings based on whatever, single story, two-story, second story house. And we would have an architect review it, stamp it with a structural engineer stamp on it, so that we could pull a permit real quick. We don't send it out to an architect, get it all done. We'd have redone existing sizes for the package prices.
They're essentially hand plans for the size of the opening on a single story home. What kind of support do you need? Is it 12 inch, 14 inch, 17 inch, 21 inch header? And that way it doesn't need to go through your normal engineering process where he's hand figuring out each one. So that would speed up the process.
Yeah, we would speed up the process by probably 70%.
Okay, so this cost, and I see it includes electricals, and we don't have to worry about electrical. Now, say it's in a kitchen, I have one right now, this is for, this is honest, for the kitchen. So does that include any pipes we need to move, or, you know, any water lines, or anything of that nature, it's all gonna be included?
This will not include plumbing. And that disclaimer will be in the sheet that you get signed, where it says, headers, shear wall, I think there's one of them that are in there, and then plumbing is already in there. And that's for gas lines or the other.
So.
Oh.
So shear wall not be included, what, I mean, do we have a price for shear wall per linear foot, so that we can tell them, hey, look, if we run into, and the engineer said, you need the shear wall the rest of the fall, let me give you at least a guesstimate or a per linear foot charge and what that is, so we're not then surprising at the end with another 5.
It's unfortunately with the architecture of it, it's shear wall may only be required in a small area, depending where they are, the orientation of the house, what kind of original structure that we're dealing with, there may be more.
But that's why I said a per linear foot charge, saying, look, we may need 2 feet of shear wall, we may need 8 feet of shear wall, and if that's the case, here's the per linear foot charge. Try to get them wrapped around and what that job could end up costing.
You're getting into something that I would shy away. This is the way I would describe something like that would be along the lines of plumbing or a gas line. That is.
I can tell you, anytime you get out close to the corner of the house.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're like, the corner of the house is here and you've got a window on the door, let's say it's only 3 foot from the corner, I can almost guarantee you, and we're gonna take out 8 foot, I can almost guarantee you're gonna need a shear wall on that 3 foot by that corner. Because what the shear wall does is it ties it into the footing, and it's laminated usually with plywood, both sides, 3/4 inch by that reinforced. So it doesn't let the house do this, but with the seismic, you know, where we're at in California. So anytime you're close to the corner, you automatically ought to start thinking shear wall. And we'll get a price on shear wall because it's not really included in that.
Right.
It's kind of a specialty, but we should be able to hit the mid-range on the shear wall cost.
So if it's needed, here's what it's
And we'll take the good with the bad, you know, on that case.
Yeah.
So that it's simple to sell, but we don't want to get into, what we want to be able to do is write the deal tonight, not fiddly diddly and come back and all that stuff. We got to be able to hit it, sign it, take it home, you know?
And
So we'll get that worked out. And I can probably figure that out the next day.
And me personally, if that's the only issue on the house, where we need to do 3 foot of shear wall up 8 foot high, we're not gonna go back to the customer typically and ask for that. If that's the only thing. But we ran into one not too long ago where we basically had to build the whole outside of the wall. I think this was a couple months ago, up 2 stories with shear wall. And I mean, it was thousands and thousands of dollars, not for your typical home where we're moving doors and windows or things like that. This was, I almost want to say, do you remember which one I'm talking about? it was a condo, I believe.
No, with Tina Anderson, we had to do a lot of crazy stuff on that house. The condo, I don't remember.
Okay. It was one where we ended up doing 2 stories of shear wall on this house. And it was something that couldn't have been known until it went to the architect. And then we did try and approach her for more money because of it. She said absolutely not.
Laura Dowd.
Yes. Yeah, Laura Dowd. That was the one. It was a condo where we ended up having to do a whole bunch of extra stuff. That if we'd had that in our disclaimer.
Anytime you take walls out, 2 stories, you need a shear wall.
Yeah. That one was a mess. Mike,
Is there any exceptions to this large up to 8 feet? The reason I'm asking, because stucco painting and everything, because I had told the panoramic door that we just basically are just gonna stick the door in.
you're not enlarging them.
No, we're enlarging, but there's no painting, there's no stucco, because we're putting it in the exact size.
But there is, because you have to put in a header, which.
Well, yeah, the header's not $6,000.
No, that'll be because we're gonna have to break everything back on both of those openings. We're gonna have to reframe that opening. There is gonna be drywall, there is gonna be stucco. I mean, you're not getting in there with a scalpel and doing a surgical cut on this thing. You know, there is gonna be painting, all of those other things. So, you know, that's meant to accommodate. So say you have, you know, a 5-foot opening, and you're gonna widen it 1.5 feet on each side. And, you know, you're gonna have to redo the header, you're gonna have to redo the framing. And there will be stucco, there will be drywall, and there will be painting. That's what me and Jose are here for, to talk to you about what each of these items include. So you're not charging double for these items.
That sounds like,
I had a homeowner recently who asked me to bid
It does. You point that this way.
a 19-foot panoramic door. And it would have taken out virtually the entire back of the house, a 2-story house. My initial thought was, we're gonna have to do footing work as well, when we transfer all that weight here. I mean, is that taken into account when we do, when we beat up? No. That means,
no. So it's, listen, we cut it out because when you do stucco, you know how many steps are doing the stucco, right? You got you got to basically, you gotta wire it, you gotta paper it, you gotta wire it, you gotta stucco, you gotta finish coating, you gotta paint it. All that stuff takes time, right? On the inside, the same thing with drywall. You gotta paint the drywall, you gotta coat it, you gotta mud it, you gotta texture it, you got all the stuff, you gotta paint, you got all that stuff that goes into there. Unfortunately, some of our old content wasn't including any of that. So if we were doing it, just for customer satisfaction, we won't charge them anything. If you get into footers, we're not a concrete company. So basically, we get into footer, that's special work. That's over and above what anything that we do, because when you do a footer, you've got to literally take a concrete saw, cut it out, you got to dig down the side, you got to tie it into the existing foundation, or however you're going to do it, you got to cure it up next to the time, easy.
Who did Vicky Norton? Nobody here? Who's the other one?
Vicky Norton and,
Ryan Norton,
Maybe Ron Watkins. And we ended up having to do footings on both of those. Where we go in, we've got to cut the concrete, we've got to bend rebar in there. And I mean, we're talking about days of our guys, and you know, you got a crew of 2 guys out there. You know, that's anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a day in labor, just 3 days for the footing. So that's just a labor cost of $1,500 to $3,000, and that wasn't even accounted for. So those are going to be unforeseen circumstances. And do we have the capability to do it? We absolutely do have the staff on board that can do that. We do have the expertise, the engineer and the architect show us exactly what needs to be done. I really hate doing footings though. But if it has to be done and we're making money doing it, we'll support you with anything we have in order to keep the profit going and make sure that it's healthy. But that would be something that would be unforeseen, that we would go back.
So in jobs like that, where it's like becomes almost a major construction site,
A lot of them do.
I know, should we add like to our language or our paperwork to say, hey, look, unforeseen, and we have all unforeseen problems?
We're working on that.
Yeah, and once the project is contact, we'll talk to their additional costs, you guys will be responsible for everything, so at least the customer's aware upfront that, hey, look, I mean, if this becomes a can of worms, then there's probably gonna be more cost.
There's a small amount of items that probably, after this correction, there are going to be very few items that cause us a lot of headaches, because as long as we're making money on it, and we have the capacity, which we do, we have all of the trades. Literally, the only thing we don't have on staff is somebody who does comprehensive plumbing. So I'll go down the list. Plumbing items cause us headaches. That'll have to be subbed out to somebody else, especially if it involves gas plumbing, gas lines to chimneys. We've been running into that frequently, probably 4 times in the last 60 days, where we're enlarging an opening next to a chimney, and lo and behold, as soon as we demo the wall, there's a big fat gas line running right through the wall. Obviously, we're not going to touch that. That needs to be professional. Almost anything electrical, as long as we're not rewiring the house, we can handle. Dean and Dale Huber are really, really good at that. We have some folks who can work with relocating switches and outlets, stuff like that. Shear wall occasionally causes us a little bit of a headache. Footings occasionally cause us a little bit of a headache. The other big ones are, and these are going to be built in somewhere, is you cannot match stucco. Someone's hollering over here or something on your dang, Dustin.
That's just.
Is that just the sound of things? It's so the other issues we're running into, it is very, very difficult to match existing stucco and paint perfectly. It's when you go and you have you're like on lock, then you have an 18-foot wide opening that you're doing, and you're putting in this huge door. We'll go out a couple feet with the stucco, but if you stand back, there's going to be minor differences in the text. Well, now the customer, I'm going out to meet him later today, he expects we're going to re-stucco the whole back of his house, because you can tell there's a little bit of a difference. Something else we run into, where we'll go out and we do the painting on the inside, and he's got 15-year-old paint on the inside of his house, and he can see a shadow of difference as you go around it. And he expects we're going to paint his whole 30-foot, wide, 8-foot tall wall in his house. And so we're working on adding that to the disclaimers that unfortunately, due to aging, weathering, etc., we cannot guarantee that it will match perfectly. By all means, if he wants us to re-stucco the whole back of his house, we have the capability to do that. It's just going to cost more money.
Jeremy had a good idea the other day anyways, to have the, take out terminal paint chip, to have them sign off on that.
Yes.
That's
Which paint do you want? It's a very good idea.
I have a question. The strip opening, sorry, that one. Because, like, someone has a 10-foot big panel, old aluminum sliding door, and another one, 36 inches. So that's obviously, seems like a pretty justifiable 2376. But let's say somebody wants to build up their wall, where there used to be a door, and they just want to come up 6 inches off the ground, 18 inches off the ground. Can't be the same cost. I mean, you might, but you're just saying, like, everything needs, everything needs it. So there's no variance there. So that can be really limiting, I think, for us.
So you're looking at probably $1,700, $1,800 to shrink the opening.
Yeah, let's say you just want to come up 6 inches, 8 inches off.
Well, so what is the outside of the house? What is the inside of the house? And then what do you need to do with drywall and stucco when you're done? So you got 3 different people that you need to send out to that house. It's, you know, just for them going out to the house, you know, just, they're gonna work there and they're gonna make it beautiful, but they've got to stop and get the supplies, or we provide them with the supplies. They've got to set everything up, so we're working in a clean environment, everything else. That painter's probably gonna ask, you know, according to our pay sheets, legitimately, probably $200, $300 for the day working out at the house. The stucco guy is gonna be a couple $100. Your drywall guy is gonna be a couple $100. Now, if you have certain crews who can do minor drywall, minor stucco, minor painting, then that could possibly be if you're only building up a couple inches or something like that, where it doesn't take a dedicated professional to do it, then if you look down here, you see the stucco work per square foot. How many square feet are we looking at of stucco? So you gotta go 8 foot. No, it's each, you're talking about linear feet, right? Okay, it doesn't matter if it's 3 inches or 12 inches. It's a foot. So 8 times 45, you're looking at $350 somewhere in there. Right? Yeah. That's just the stucco.
So
Yes.
it's per square feet per linear foot.
Do we have a drywall on here? So you got another 318 there. Square foot. But if it doesn't matter if it's 4 inches or 12 inches, if you're just doing it across the bottom. So then now you've got to take into account the painting.
How are you gonna finish it next to the floor?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a baseboard that you're working on.
You gotta almost rebuild an entire wall. That's the same cost as building up.
For enlarge opening, for shrink opening, yeah. That's just the base structure.
The base structure, does that include the stucco and drywall?
Yes.
That's finished.
Yeah.
So what would be, if it's a base structure, what would be?
If you're doing something, yeah, this is where common sense is allowed. Remember, you're trying to protect the company and the money you earned on this job at the same time. You don't want it to go below a 35% margin. So when I'm talking about shrink opening, if you're gonna take, you know, say this was nothing here, so this is all glass along here, and all of a sudden the customer just wants a little 3 foot by 3 foot window, and we're gonna be closing all of that off and all of that. It's, you know, that is not gonna cover the cost. You know, that's just where you're gonna be doing 60, 70, 100 square foot of drywall here and here. And, you know, the light bulb should go and say, ooh, I don't think that's enough money to display with.
Yeah, that's a picture. So I look at your over a video or myself, and you guys can have these. You definitely light bulb goes off, okay, that's not 22,750. Just a picture over.
Well, let's say, okay, so now it's a same situation, but they have 4 windows where they want to build up 60. Is that not how that?
So So if you get into that's not what most of our shrink are. That's, I'm basing this off of the 75 to 90% of what we run into. You get these one-offs, take a picture, hey Scott, this is, Scott, Jose, Vinny, send it to all three of us at the same time. That way, if one or two of us are out in the field, somebody can get back to you. Jody and JC are doing that. Just so you have to roll.
We don't know.
So send us a quick picture and say, hey Scott, you're looking at 22 feet of stucco, 22 feet of drywall painting, and we're gonna do 11 feet of baseboard. Okay, I can run real quick through there. I go, okay, three trays, we'll do that. Okay, we'll do 3,500 for all four. Whatever that number might be.
Yeah, but when in doubt, send a picture.
When in doubt, price it out.
When in doubt, price it out.
There you go.
But the thing is, if you're running into it, especially it looks like it's gonna be, the light bulb going off through, you're like, oh, this gonna fill my field. I think the way it's set up through here, take a picture and send it over. I would suggest put me on that right message too.
Yeah.
So I can take a look at it when it comes across. We wanna make sure that we are all on board. Because if I see you come over all three and all three are busy, I'll start calling and laughing. We wanna make sure we go. Or if it comes into it and I don't agree with something, I'll challenge. And basically go, well, basically I might look at it like that. So all natures when you're in there, I know it takes 2 seconds to take a picture and shoot a text over, we'll get something back to you quick. So especially if you're running into where, again, you're running into the gift of 6-inch buildups. So it's, you do run into that where it looks like it's gonna kill your deal or something's gonna happen. It's better to ask the question now. So get us the picture.
Yeah, and occasionally there is flexibility on it. This is built for the 75 to 90% is what we run.
This is the general, why we did it this way. So you don't have to be in the house thinking about, you're not gonna get this charge, you're gonna get this charge. I need you guys focusing on selling. That way you don't have to worry about becoming an architect or basically an engineer or a freaking construction trade person that's out there marking down every 30 cents. I need you guys focusing on selling the project and then not having to worry about actually sell it, crap, I'll screw myself. That's what we're trying to take out, is the ability for you to screw your commission and allow you to make sure you're making money and that it's fair and equitable on all sides.
Did anything change with scaffolding? I don't see that. Is that an issue at all?
Scaffolding we left alone. We're actually reaching out to some other companies now, where we're gonna, when we did some phone calls, the pricing was pretty standard across the board, but we're gonna try out some different companies to see if maybe they can give us bids up front instead of having to wait till they go out there and do a site inspection. If they can tell us per story, because if you're doing 4-story versus, 15 foot off the ground, then, those are totally different price points there. We're still working on that. It's Damien is taking the classes on getting certified to be a scaffolding, whatever it's called, he can supervise it. But that's gonna be a couple of months out. He's like going through all the classes and everything like that.
It's like a 6-month.
Yeah. It's not something that happens.
People
You kind of want to
do
get
it
it
later.
right. Yeah.
Scott, I do have a quick question for you. The scenario came across recently. They had 2 rather large windows. And they were wanting to basically just kind of tear them out and put swing French doors there. And there was obviously a support in between. So obviously we're talking about structural engineering and permitting. Am I then also charging obviously to the large delivery plus the door so that project then becomes like a $30,000 project? Yes. Kind of.
So, for example, you want to turn these 2 windows into French doors.
Yeah, let's say they're small,
So there's going to be 1 key that is the big portion of all of it? Is that a continuous header that runs across there? Or does it only go to here, then you have a stud, and then a stud here?
And I have no way to determine if what I've always been told is that if there's actually drywall in between the two windows, I suspect that there's.
That's correct. So what you would do is you would sell it as the major modification, you know, the engineering and all of that. So Jose, refresh my memory on this. Structural engineering and permits, what was included in that?
The architect, engineer, and the permit.
Okay, so all of those are included in that. So then we would have a large opening, this would be more than 8 feet across.
Well, I mean, in the situation where I was, it wasn't. I mean, it actually worked out with the width of the two windows would be sufficient. We didn't need the door, but we just had that structural support in between.
Okay, so then that would be
I think what
enlarged.
they're not understanding too is that if we do that, we're cutting almost 2 feet extra on the
Yeah.
side, so we can build it out. But it took me a second to get that in my brain too. I said, bullshit, everything you're thinking, I thought, and I fought like $30 in a day. I had to remind, trust me, I was cursing and yelling and screaming and everything you don't see me ever do. But they basically, it took me a second, I see. So when they talked about having to cut it out all the way around and reframe it all in on the chairs, no matter what they do, there's stucco, there's drywall, there's finish coat, there's all that extra crap that we don't.
Because you need to support it out on the side.
It's just not the
Pull the header out with the header.
It's just not that. You need to explain it to your customers, right? We're not subcontracting 4 different trades. Right? We're taking underneath one house and we're all these different trades. We got our stuff. We got our drywall guy, we got our finisher, we got our mud, we got our test, we got all the things that need to happen underway one roof. So that way you're not having to worry about shiny workmanship or have this job site. Where basically we get done with one part of it, now you're waiting 3 months for somebody to come back and finish it. And they gotta come back and get someone else to basically paint it. You know, so everything can be done systematically.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that my thought.
Yeah.
You are correct though.
And then plus electrical.
In other words, we included the electrical.
Electrical included in that.
Okay, now we're. We could even another, that's not always great, we've got a lot.
So you don't have to worry about paint, you don't have to worry about stuff, you don't have to worry about flour.
But now that project.
So I'll get to you just. So on this, that's going on the assumption that it's a split header. And we're gonna be putting in a single header. Now, what you can let your customer know, hey, John Mary, you may win the lottery on this and you may get lucky. When our project manager comes out to do the site inspection, he's gonna cut that drywall up there to confirm. Because if it is a continuous header, you don't wanna have to do all the extra work and everything.
So then we would take that out for $9,900.
Correct. It doesn't need to go to structural, the architect, permits, all of that, which we don't want to do. That'll shave a couple months off of the job, not having to go through that process.
I mean, if that is a good rule, no, I mean, if there's drywall in the windows, it seems like.
Yeah, but every once in a while, we've had 2 recently, where Billy went out on one, and I think Dan Ray went out on another one. And if you go visit the jobs, these structural jobs afterwards, you'll see that there's a big chunk of the drywall where they'll cut it out, they'll look behind there, and then they'll just temporarily put it back up in place.
Yeah, I see for window coverings, I thought that window coverings was built into the project now. Because that's how I've been pricing it out, is that removing, replacing blinds, it's supposed to be included in the window, which the cost. So I haven't been building any projects with removing, replacing blinds.
Yeah, and we're paying it out on every single job. What's, everybody has curtains or blinds or something on, everybody has. And when we talked about it, it was not included in the price of the window.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And I'll let you ask that question and then figure out if it's something we need to add.
Let's look at, well, let's side table that for right now.
That's not one of my big needs right now. Yeah. It's the other stuff that I'm more worried about, the potential gotchas, versus $20-30 here
But
and
again,
there.
we don't wanna get in, people have like decorative, like,
Plantation
not even
shutters.
just plantation shutters, but some of these like curtains they have on there. Some of those curtains cost way more than your window cost. Yeah, some of those curtains.
Well, the Mark said patiently wait.
That's fine, okay. So cut down, put in the door, you're gonna rewrap the electrical, does that include the light switch in the lamps?
That's all of that's included. Because there are code requirements that you need an outlet within it and a switch every so many feet on the wall. So part of what we do while they're doing the structural is they're gonna reroute the electrical, make sure that's.
Pretty much concrete, plumbing, and shear wall. Those are three things that aren't concrete, plumbing, and shear wall. Concrete, plumbing, and shear wall. Repeat, concrete, plumbing, and shear wall.
Gas.
That's plumbing.
TPS. TPS.
So my question is, can you guys, when they do take down stuff, window coverings or draperies or whatever, can you have you guys take pictures of how it looks? Because a number of times I've gone after to check with my clients and they're like, oh, they put it in wrong, or we have trouble. So they would just take a photo of how it looks before they take it out. Yeah. So they know how to reinstall it.
So, you gotta remember, these are installed. It's not the most tech savvy individuals in the world. If you meet some of them, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's, I ask quite frequently, I need pictures or I'm not paying you for what you did. And, they haven't got paid on things because they don't take pictures of it. I mean, they get into a groove and they're working and they're doing stuff. The things that I require them to take pictures of, for inspections and, make sure that they're actually doing an SD reflash or a full frame. And then now they've got to take pictures of blinds and, literally, they might as well just have a photographer there with them while they're doing the job. Because we don't, there should be in a lot of cases pictures of the blinds because the project managers are taking pictures when they do the inspection. So there's almost always pictures of that before. And also, remember, you guys almost always get it signed. It's the disclaimer sheet that says the customer needs them to take down their own blinds and put them back
It's
down.
a good practice, guys, anyways. I trust my position. I know what to say. You can flunk me all you want, it doesn't work. So, what I'm telling you is you set it up in the beginning, unless they're older.
Yeah.
You should really be tough, guys. We asked you to take it down, because obviously you could have paid somebody a lot of money to put these blinds up. And the last thing we want to do is take them down and put them up and not work the way they're supposed to do. You have a warranty on your blinds currently. Is there a company that did that for you? Right. If there is, I suggest you get a hold of them. We can coordinate with them on basic time, on removal and replacing. With the project manager, right? So we can basically help them with it. We prefer you do that. If you'd like us to, we can go ahead and remove and replace it. Would you like us to do that, or would you like to go ahead and have the professional come up with? We don't do that.
Yes. And our guys are great at construction. They can install and remove windows and do everything with the best of them. Unfortunately, most of them didn't go to blind certification school or ADT training to install alarms and whatnot.
You don't want to do that anyway. ADT training, if some didn't work, would be student all out.
When it comes to your family's security and there's a reason you have this system installed in your home, it's something best done by a professional.
All right, excellent.
All right, so we're good on the structural engineering permits, good on the large opening, and then over 8 foot, you're gonna charge the 8-foot charge plus the $285 per foot after that. Yes. Shrink opening, we talked about. Lower the opening, basically a cut down, a window to a door, something along those lines. On the lower opening, did we remove the electrical or is the
I think
electrical?
we did, not listed. I think we did remove.
Oh, there it is, move electrical. Electrical and plumbing, halfway, right in the middle of the lower.
No, but the lower, they start to include moving out of one wall.
So that would only pertain if you had a socket, like right below the opening that we're cutting
I
down.
don't think we put it. It's a crapshoot. whether we have it.
But it's okay, sure, yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
for it?
yeah. Got one on either side of the window, there's a good chance of going under the window.
It could, we're good at rerouting it a lot.
So that would be included.
It's, if you couldn't see it and you didn't know it was there, then I would be okay with that. But if you got a plug that's anywhere in the envelope of what we're gonna be lowering down through, my expectation is you would add it to.
So if you have like 2 outlets, are you gonna charge for both?
Just one.
But
2 hours.
Just one?
Say it's 2 outlets on the
It's the
same
same,
line.
it's not off the same line.
Yeah,
Not off the same line. You only need one.
I agree with those guys. We just need to do one.
Can you still have one that says, what does that include? Everything, drywall?
Stucco, the little baseboard, if there's gonna be one there, the painting, that's all included. Stucco work per square foot. This ought to be fun. Okay. This
Can't
is-
change the propane.
this is gonna be fun. Okay, so we rebuilt this wall here, and this is gonna be the final configuration, say whatever it is. And the top of the windows is the ceiling, that's where the ceiling starts. So the way I would do that is you take the linear feet from here to here, I'm gonna guess 20 foot. Well, we'll go with 20. 25, we'll go with 25. So, and we'll call this 3 feet tall. How many square feet of stucco is that? 25 times 3 is 75, there we go. So then you take this, say it's 2.5 feet wide, you always round to the next higher foot. So then, say that's 8 foot tall, and this is 3 foot wide. So 3 times 8 is 24. You got 24, 24, and say 24. So 73 plus 75, 147. You have 150. So you would take 147 square feet times 45. We weren't charging for stucco. You see real quick where we were taking a bath. So then times 0.65. $42.99. And that is going to include the paper, the wire, the, what is it called? Scratch and brown, and the painting. That's the same, that's the actual material. Basically concrete is what they're putting on the wall, yes. And then that includes the painting as well. So when we're doing big areas of stucco like this, you know, you can see how we can get upside down real quick, $2,000 just to do like 30 feet. You know, that's over $1,000 already.
Under what circumstances we can use that other than a shrink opening or? Well, right, I mean, I guess so.
Say somebody got their wall jacked up, right? They want us to restucco the rest of the wall because it's all cracked and basically.
Still repairing the wall.
Yeah.
This is out of the scope of
This
a
is
window or door project.
Extra work, extra work.
No, yeah, so we would have to be like, oh, yeah, we'll fix that.
Yeah.
And that first one, now we got, I mean. I don't know where the stucco from. Okay, but
It's, well, like I was saying, Damian went out on that one, added $7,900 to the contract. And all we're doing is replacing a bunch of rotted through, broken stucco, that was actually leaking inside of the house. And he found that while he was on the site inspection, pointed it out to the homeowner, and he asked, hey, can your guys do this while they're replacing the window? Yeah, absolutely, we can.
oh, thank you.
All right, so minor stucco repairs for cracks. You know, that's, got some cracks and some chipping, a little bit around the window that we can patch up and then paint. You know, that's for minor stucco repairs. If there's any question in your mind, is this minor or not? See square foot chart.
So that's a per window.
For minor cracks around the
If there's
window.
crack, cracks.
Per window.
What about under the glass sliding door? A lot of times the stuff is broken, all down there.
That'd be a minor. Yeah, because most of our installers can handle something like that.
Would they build it out with the fresh basis so it's hanging over the edge a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of times what they'll do is add a piece of pressure treated lumber, you know. It's, we run into it a lot, but that would be an additional minor stucco repair.
Yeah, we not repair that. Down for it, if there's something that goes off back, we don't talk to it, we require that it's done. Particularly like under a sliding door.
Depending on what it is. So if the foundation is coming out and, you know, underneath there, so it's properly supported, you have good support there, then we're not gonna, you know, just start repairing things on somebody's home that we're not contracted to do. But if they go to put the door in and there's no silt support there, and you stand on the edge, and it's like a diving board, then obviously we need to make our door safe for the homeowner. Then we'll do the pressure treated lumber, and usually we'll just throw some paint on there or something. But if they want it to match the whole rest of the house and look brand new again, then we would add a stucco coat. All right, R&R window bars, door bars, window coverings, door coverings. I don't think we messed with any of this. Plantation shutters is the same. Move electrical, that's per circuit that we're moving. So
Remember on plantation shutters, they're set to the inside. We don't touch that. That's gonna have to do with no. Getting them to fit back on there, again, it's not only if they're face mount. Is it not without doing like some kind of overfit flange, you're not gonna fit back in there. Unless you can take a measurement and know that we're gonna have at least 3 inches on fiberglass, 3 1/4 if you go on the vinyl. You can't basically just expect them, those plantation shutters not to be removed. There's no way to seal the window. Now, I've seen a couple of jobs that have gone on where they remove the plantation shutters.
where they what?
What's that?
If it's mounted on the drywall.
Well, there was enough room, like Dustin was saying, for them to put it on the inside, so if they're not gonna remove them, we have to pay them. I mean, so when they install windows, I guess my question is, 2 jobs that I've gone on, and they've left the plantation shutters on, not charged to remove or replace them. So
Yeah,
typically, they don't
if
have.
we're not removing and reinstalling them, you don't need to charge
So
for
at what
removing.
point do we have to?
Retrofit with, like, this, most likely.
Well, but this is even, that's a refresh.
So that is.
Well, how much
that's
space do
about-
you need between the frame and the
You
door?
can leave, you know, leave current and open, because we're paying 3 inches. I don't people, have a friend told me, but remember, they're gonna open and close it. But, yeah, your question, I like Dustin's rule, if they're inside, if they're outdoor, open them up, and if you can, if you go to the shutter, you can open it wide, and still install the window. you're good.
Okay.
I wanted to interfere, any patio doors, those are the ones that interfere with. You're good, if you can open it, you're good.
Yeah, so keep in mind on the patio, there's two handles. Is your handle different on the patio doors? Yeah. Then that would have to be altered. We're not in the business hall. Yeah, no, I'll watch out.
So, just so I understand, correctly, you got an interior mount ventilation shutter. You don't have like an overflow switch. Okay, so you either walk away from the bottom or you overfit one.
Let them know they're gonna lose their
Or-
foundation
or-
shutters. Yeah, they're gonna lose their foundation shutters. And basically, it's gonna be like,
Do we got a charge for open?
it's not really much.
Yeah, so just explain.
We don't pay anything extra for an overfit versus an ultra.
You just
So
need to
just
just
explain to them that it's an overhang exterior, stick out of the wall there, if you want. to keep it up. And then put in the notes that, customer wants to keep the shutter, please, for true windows to the exterior.
Now, in that case where they have them inset, we're gonna pull them to the outside. It's depending on how they're put together. Some of our installers can fur out around the outside of the window and install them that way. You've seen that before, right? Yeah. So if they're open to that, for bringing them to the outside, some plantation shutters will allow that. Then you definitely want to make sure that you're charging for that.
Oh, you're saying that instead of put the window out, our guys, if you charge for the R&R shutters, they can pull the shutters out.
In some cases,
Right.
we would need to see a picture of how they're installed to the inside. And then Vinny or Jose could look at that and say,
From personal experience, double check the foundation shutters pretty much in that. They're like $1,000 a piece, so I think they're foundation shutters sometimes more. The less we want to do it, because that window, we just pretty much remove the foundation shutter, and we screw it up and just bottom screw that. I'll make sure.
So the final answer, that if they're mounted on the inside, we put them on.
If they're not on the inside, just use invitation.
I told you that, but I don't charge anymore from the outside. You don't have
If we're doing the basically over their plan, you don't have to. charge. If you're gonna do something with R&R, we're gonna have to remove and replace them. We got someone to do that. That probably goes for anybody.
all right, move electrical per circuit, casing and jam extension. Yes. So,
Notice that price came down and they removed ten. And it doesn't matter if there's a stool and an apron, or basically 4 sides, that's all included on the.
Okay, but that's included if we do
full frame.
full
Drywall cuts. We'll get into that more. I don't want to get into that right now.
They all know what it is.
Okay. But I'm talking about the different install methods being you were talking about.
Once we announce it officially,
Then we'll get into that.
right now, it's can one.
Steel frames, please, please, please carry a magnet with you.
It's not anything, always use pull out.
Beautiful. It's, if you run into a steel framed window and you're telling this customer that we're removing this window, how many of you have ever taken a steel frame out of a house? How fun is that, Scott? It is no joke.
They're calling it a scrapper.
And you must start that. How we know, if you tell them we're cutting the frames, we're removing the frames, anything other than an insert, you need to add that to it.
So that includes the dynamo.
Yes, that includes the nitroglycerin. Upgrade to stain grade paint or pine, repair existing drywall damage per square foot. So basically the same exact thing that you have for the stucco. So measure across here, you got 25 feet, 3 feet tall, so you got 75 feet. Somebody do the math real quick, 75 times 23. Times 0.65. Yeah, so to do all of that with new drywall, to paint, that includes the painting of it. Yep. Again, we're gonna have to send guys out a couple times because you can't paint it. The muddy, taping, and texturing has to dry before.
Remember, they gotta feather it into the old stuff.
And then it's like the trimmer block.
Yeah. So anywhere where we're gonna be doing extra drywall work, we need to add that too. Anything you want to add to that? Stain paint the window, the jam extension, the door, and then painting per square foot. This is walls. So now if we're gonna get into painting ceilings or something along those lines, that's a whole different thing. But say you're in the house and you go to visit them, the install's going on, and the customer's like, wow, your painters did a great job. I think we have, what, 8 painters on staff right now? So, you know, we can do a lot. And some of these guys are amazing at what they can do with paint. So if the customer goes, you know, I like it, everything's great, but man, it makes my old walls look dingy compared to it. Well, John Marion, if you like, we can go ahead and do the painting for the rest of this room for you. I don't have a problem with you doing it. We have the capacity to do it. Is what was the bid we sent? Was that big one where we're doing the fireplace mantle and all that other stuff, Dustin? Yeah, we bid him 12 grand to do the painting on his house. So you know, you start adding a bunch of this other stuff, and it adds up pretty quick. So per square foot, and then second story charge. It's more hazardous to work on a second story from a ladder, all of those things, so that's what that's. All right. Any questions about anything?
Yeah, go ahead. So I assume, because a lot of times, several times, staying in paint window with extension jam, if you don't do the window, is it just one line? That's that minus that.
Yeah, if we're only doing the window, it's 190. If we're doing the window and the jam, it's 190.
Okay, that minus.
So full framing includes jam sections and casing was also or
Let me look at that real quick. Somebody do 310 real quick times 0.65. 201. Okay, so then 201. It is. Yep, as we're talking. Materials. Yes, that would include the painting.
the full frame includes the
Jam extension.
Yes,
that's complete.
We again did it so you didn't have to think about it. That's why we did it. So again, you can go in there and sell and not have to worry about, what do I gotta charge for stuff? I gotta charge for things, I gotta charge for drywall, I gotta charge. What else do we wanna do it so it simplifies the process. Yeah.
This has been really helpful. Just going through the pricing. Can you do a favor for that customer and talk about this? For others that may not experience this yet. Let's say you create an opening. There is a timeline for that extended. So what I thought was going to be shorter, make an assumption, turned out to be a lot longer in regards to when the project will be completed.
So you have to go with structural engineering and all that,
Oh.
state inspector coming out, and the different stages, can you kind of break that down?
Okay, so you sell a job. And then you set the measure for next week. The way we've got it set up, this is for a structural engineering legit that we are, we're turning this into a big 18-foot bifolding door, 8-foot tall, and we know there's headers that are split. We know this is gonna be a structural engineering job. So you'll call in, we're gonna set the measure at least 3 to 5 days out. Then we're gonna notify our architect, and he's gonna go on the pre-site inspection with the project manager. So Al Flores has been removed from the equation here. The architect will join the project manager. So they're gonna go over all of this. Usually takes about a week, just us to give them all the correct paperwork. I have to approve what they're gonna be charging for on that job, all of those things. So you're about 2 weeks out before any legitimate work has started. So then the architect is going to need 2 to 4 weeks, because that's gonna go in queue behind the other jobs that are in line. So 2 to 4 weeks, say 4 weeks down the road, he should have the architecture done. And then he's gonna send it to the engineer. The engineer is gonna need it for at least 2 weeks. He's gotta do all the calculations, double check all the math, everything else. So, we're 8 weeks into it, and the engineer just signed off on it. So from there, we need to go to the city. We still haven't ordered product yet, because the city could require us to make some changes, which they have done several times. And if you order the product and then they make you changes, to have to buy an 18-foot bifolding door, I don't want to be the person making that phone call. And so the city may have it, depending on where you are, city, county, etc., for 2 weeks in a lot of cases. It could be longer in some areas. And then we need to we'll find out at that point if we're good to order. So we're about 10 weeks in before we can order the product. And
So now we're at 18, so we need to add some time.
yes, so we're at 10 weeks, typically we can order. Now, what we run into in some areas, if we have to go through historic board review and other things, we are trying to order the product, but in some cases, we don't want to do that. As some of you have found out, I think Santo is a customer, or what's Sarno is a customer, that if we would have ordered that product, we would have been in a bad situation. So we may have to wait another 2 to 4 weeks for historic to take a look at it. So, we could be 14 weeks into this project without ordering anything. And that's everybody meeting their timeline goals. So then we order a product and say it takes 6 weeks. So, you could be at 20 weeks on the outside, and then we're gonna say 2 to 3 weeks for most structural engineering jobs. That's where we're on the house doing the work. And this is where Mark wanted me to talk about this timeline. So we go in and we have a crew of guys. They're gonna do the demo, they're gonna take everything out, they're gonna build the temporary wall to support the house. They have to do the new framing and everything else. That's typically gonna take a week for us to do full demo, full cleanup. If you've gone to a structural job and they're building a wall on the inside of the house to support it while they're tearing out the other wall. So that takes, a day or two in itself just to build a support wall to hold the house up. And then to do the demo and the framing, you're looking at a couple more days. So you're a week into the house, minimum, just to make the structural modification. At that time, you're gonna need a framing inspection from the city. So that's a day. Sitting there, waiting for the inspector to show up. If you're lucky. If you have electrical, they're gonna wanna do an electrical inspection. When you're doing drywall, they're gonna wanna do a lap and plaster inspection or a drywall inspection. They're gonna wanna do a stucco inspection. I mean, there's some jobs, some of the inspections, we could have 4 or 5 at least. You know, they may wanna do a hold down anchor and bolt inspection. Are we using the correct epoxies? I mean, easily 4, 5, 6 inspections on a lot of these jobs, where we have lost an entire day. So when you think about it, you're like, 3 weeks to do a modification, that just seems crazy. Well, you know, 4, 5, or 6 of those days potentially, we're at a standstill. You know, we're just hanging out waiting. And then you've got to take into account, you know, usually just a day, we're going to have the product installed. Then we need a day for the drywall guy, a day for the stucco guy, and then a couple days for the painters that come in at the end of that. You know, there's probably going to be some carpentry work in there at some point as well. So, you know, easily 2 to 3 weeks on the job for any modifications that we do. And you can explain to the customer, you know, look, these are all the steps that we need to go through to get to the finished product.
So if we're estimating the time frame for a project like that, say 6 months.
John and Mary, it depends on how many hoops the city and county is going to make us jump through. There are some locations, what's the best?
It's going to be in our home.
City of Santis, El Cajon, we walk up to the counter, we show them what I got, they stamp it, we walk out the door. We're good to go. If you go to Chula Vista, what happens?
30 days.
Chula Vista, 30 days no matter, just for anything.
So I mean, as far as expectations that we should set the customer, you know, from signing to completed 6 to 7 loads. I mean,
I'd like to give a window depending on how challenging your municipality is. And the workload of your municipality, does this require historic review? Because it's hit and miss with the pockets everywhere. It's crazy, some areas that require historic, and then 2 houses over, they don't require historic. And it's not like they provide us with these maps of whatever, you know, they go into their database, look up the house, okay, it's.
All right, so real quick, wrapping up. So can we get like 3 ways to get something like a timeline, like a mock timeline built into this? So we can have-
I can build one up.
At least just to kind of give them a general rule of thumb and say, you know, it's going to be about 6 months.
Yeah, let me tell you why the expenses.
Yeah, if you put it down on paper, they'll take a look at what it all takes to get to where you.
Kind of like a mock flow chart. Look on it.
It's not 2 guys coming in here with some sledgehammers, they knock the stuff, hey, let's throw a big beam up. So there's a lot.
What's together, do the time to do it all together. How are we securing the home?
Oh, with the temporary wall. Yeah.
And they fill it in.
Yes,
Yeah, does that expose?
yes, nobody's getting it. No. I mean, we're literally putting drywall.
And we're gonna tape the bottom really good.
Sometimes we run into a lab as last review, is that drywall charge enough to cover that?
Not really. We've run into it infrequently enough where it doesn't become too much of an issue.
You use the double charge for that.
Yeah, if you use the stucco charge on that, because you have to be a real artist to be able to do that. So we only use a couple of our guys for that.
One of my questions is, and I've run into it a few times, is the security screens on the front door. So I tell them, we can for sure remove it and put your front door on, but I can't guarantee putting it back. Is that the right
Correct.
answer?
Yeah,
That's the
And
right
then-
answer. Yes.
Okay, and then tell me about the price again. This is really small.
With R&R what?
So just the door,
R&R door bars.
there used to be security, door bars.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
I have a question about rescission within that 6 months. So we've put a bunch of effort towards permits, et cetera. 3 months into it, they want to cancel because we haven't ordered it.
Then it'll be a 33% cancellation fee.
I'm dealing with that already.
I just tell them I can't cancel.
They're literally, we're into it. They're not getting out of that.
Yeah, we're paying architects, we're paying engineers, we're paying hundreds if not thousands of dollars to the city or county. They're not canceling.
I
We
told
will go at them as much as the law will legally let us go at them.
Jose, will you do me a favor? Will you put together a couple different mock timelines for a structural engineering project that we can send to Dustin? And then I wanted to touch on just one thing, really, everybody pay attention to this because it is biting some people right now, and it's a big bite when it happens, is with scaffolding. Until it changes, until we have our own in-house certified, the rules, have all of you received copies of the rules? They all should have, right? Okay, if it is anything other than level ground, 15 feet off the ground, requires scaffolding. Anything other than flat, level, all over.
You can't get it, if you feel like you couldn't get a ladder up there safely, to basically put it in there yourself, don't pull any of our guys in.
And the guys can't put a ladder in an area that's flat this far away from the house. I mean, the ladder would be going straight up. And
It's 2 foot, it's 20, what is it? How many inches is it for every, I forget what it is, like 24 inches for every so many feet. I forget what it is.
But we need lots of room to be able to put up the ladders. If it's a large, anything other than what, a gliding window, above 15 feet. That means it's heavy. We can't remove the sashes to install the window.
casement windows, picture windows, those type of things.
And it's above 15 feet, we gotta have scaffolding. I mean, these windows can be 100 pounds. How's the guy gonna get it up the ladder and install it? Anything above 24 foot has to have scaffolding. I don't know how many of you have climbed a ladder 24 feet high. It's me, my knees are doing like this when I'm getting up there. And then there was one more. Do you remember the other one, Jose?
Yes, United Inches the window.
Yeah. So please familiarize yourself with that list because that's easily a $1,500 to $2,000 hit you're going to take if we run into that.
So UI is what, is it 120?
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
And then what about full frame and reflash on just normal size windows, second story?
You just charge the second story charge. Yeah. If it's your normal, 12 feet off the ground, 10 feet off the ground, and there's room to put the ladder, there's not a cliff right on the edge there, then shouldn't be an issue. Just the second story charge is fine. 120 United Inches. Correct. Like a picture window, if it's 24 by 24.
I'll re-email out the requirements. Okay, cool.
So
All
this
right.
stuff isn't,
It's in LEAP already.
but it doesn't match.
Yes, it does. Update your price sheet.
You gotta update it.
Update your price sheet. It's in there, I promise you.
Do you want me to leave any extra copies?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take them all. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
All right, give them a round of applause, guys. Thank you. All right, so let's move on. We're gonna just roll through the rest. So thank you for your time, Scott and Jose. We appreciate you guys. All right, so lots of information, right? So that was a meeting in itself. So real quick, we want to go over a little sales stuff, and then we'll let you guys out on the road. But thank you, Jose. Appreciate you, my man. All right.
So again, Jose, Scott, their phones are on all the time. So we want to make sure if you guys have needs or questions, make sure you're reaching out to them, or any questions or something doesn't even seem like it's quite right when you look at the pricing, it looks like it's too much or not enough, then basically make sure we're contacting them and let them go. All right, watch a little video, clear your brain of all that stuff, and then we're going to get on to what makes us money, which is sales. Actually, before we get there, let's look at this thing. So coming into this week, we're back down to our final four. So we got Ryan and Mr. Hauser, which has already been talking crap to each other on grouping. And you got Jeremy and Scott. So again, may the force be with you guys. Appreciate you. Good job so far. So look at some big window counts coming up this week. All right.
Look yourself in the mirror and say, I am doing my best. Because if you can, you're lying to yourself. Your best is a moving, evolving, changing scale. You can always do better. You can always do more. You can always improve. You can always find a way to get a better result and to sharpen your skills. You guys are always looking for that extra thing. I'm going to read this book, I'm going to buy this book, I'm going to join this mastermind group, I'm going to go to this seminar. None of those things will replace what's being work. There is no shortcut. There is no way to make it faster. There is no way to make it easier. You've got to do what's being work. You can't go through life looking to do the minimum to get the maximum. If you want the maximum, you got to do the maximum. There's somebody out there who won't show the spot. You're not the only one trying to do the hard work. You're not the only one trying to do the MBA. You're not the only one trying to do the NFL. And so you gotta everybody act on it. You gotta go look forward in the man who's trying to get what you're trying to get. I'm very trying to get this effect without excellence. I'm very trying to shortcut this effect. I'm very trying to shortcut this effect. It's not going to happen. There's no shortcut to this effect. You can't go around it. You can't go under it. You can't go over it. The only way you can get to it is through it. Every single day you wake up, you gotta do it all you got. You gotta 100%. Don't fool yourself into thinking that this year is going to be last year. If you still making excuses, there are no excuses. You gotta work for it. You gotta put forth 120%. You can have it, you can hear it, you can do it. But you gotta accept the challenge. What do you do to make your next effort your next effort? Are you reaching deep down inside to fight through everything that you go through right now? Or are you settling to be where you are at this current moment? Now is not the time to complain. Now is the time to make change and free. You need to work an hour longer. You need to run just a little fast. You need to put 5 more pounds on the right. That's the effort you need to be doing. That's the sacrifice that you have to pay in order for you to get to the next level that you need to be in order for you to be the new.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There is no shortcut to success, right? Zero. You miss something, it bites you right in the tail, right? And when you leave the house, you know you bit. When you look at those things, I love it because people who think they're better than the system are the ones that always have results like this. You know those people, right? So when you look at it, you can make every excuse on why you're not, or basically you can take accountability, right? At the end of the day, we kind of run through it. And commitments are one thing. So I wanted to run through today because I believe wholeheartedly that if we went around and I went and watched all of you 3 different appointments, I guarantee you that most of us would miss 1 or 2 of these coming through, right? And if you think you're good enough to do it, guess again. I didn't create the commitments. These things have been around to the test of time. When I was a young guy coming into this industry, there were commitments that we had to get young coming into it. They told me, are you freaking stupid? If you miss these commitments, are you ignorant? You just drove out to this customer's house, basically 2 hours, 45 minutes, whatever it might be, 8 hours in some hotel towns, right? And then basically, you just gave a 2.5 hour to 3 hour presentation and you beat yourself. You beat yourself. So if you think about it, how many times do we beat ourselves, right? How many times do we lose to our effort, lose to basically our focus because we missed something? And what this reminded me of, I was doing it for the new guys. And Lamar came in and worked last week and we were talking and going through things and I'm like, well, son of a bitch, this is what we're missing, right? As simple as it is, and as hard as it can be, turn your asses around and look at everything now, off your computers. Because until you're perfect, you're closing 40%. You continue to do exactly what you want to do, I don't care. But right now, you're gonna pay attention. Because you miss it, this is not good. Because this is what your expectations are held to, it's what you were trained for. It's what I trained you to do. Now, just like last week says, I can't force you to do it, but we can get better. We can get sharper. We can get swifter. We can get more fluid with them. We can sound like we're talking in our everyday speech when we get commitments. And if we miss them, we need to know what to go back to. So let's talk about it, right? We talk about our entry real fast. Walk in. First off, what we do, we walk over the threshold of the door. Beautiful house. How long you owned it for? Wow, 8 years. What made you pick this house, this neighborhood? Boom. As we pick that, as we get that little small commitment, we get through, we find out how long they've owned their house. Big gigantic deal, because if we want to basically try to do a close later, called basically an ROI, if we don't know how long they've already lived there and how much money they've already paid for utilities, we've just wasted our effing time. Second, boy, it's going to take a stick of dynamite to get you. There's definitely a place you guys plan on staying a long time too, right? So if I fast forward and they tell me that this isn't their forever house, they're going to be moving, well, guess what? If I'd have found it right when I walked back in the door, this wouldn't be coming up at the end. They couldn't use that against me because now it's bullcrap. Because I found it out here, not here. Right? So again, let's talk about it. That's hard. That's that one right through there. If you get caught with somebody telling you that, they didn't bring it up to the end, whose fault is that? Exactly right. Now the need commitment. Now the need commitment. Listen to this one. If you don't work your ass off on this one, if you're not doing everything you can to be as good at this one as possible, then you're a moron. It means you truly, after this many months and years of working with me, don't know what you don't know. This is so vital. This is the fundamental processes. It is the reason why. You know what they call this? Earning credibility. Because if you don't do it right, you've earned zero credibility. They're not going to buy windows because you do a great resolution, a great company resolution. I talked about everything you have that I love, and you've got the prettiest product known to man, and the installation's so great, and it makes me feel so good. I can't wait to move forward, but I'm going to call you next week. Right? I'm going to call you next week because it's just not that important right now. So I'm going to call you next week, and you'll be there to take my call, right? Because I really want to do business with you, Mark. Right? You're such a good guy. You did such a great thing. When I get around to doing this thing, you're going to be the person I do it with. You just got niced out of the house. Welcome to a shitty needs assessment. Okay? Now, how do we put that on steroids, right? Because we talked about it. It's more than just going through the routines, right? Gonna marry, how long has that been a problem? What have you done to try to fix it? How much time, money have you spent? The one that everybody forgets. Have you given up trying to fix it on your own, right? So your windows definitely need to be replaced. This is all basic. I wrote it all out for everybody, right? So there's no excuses, you have it. So you want to close 40, 50% of your business. Guess what? We have the options now where you should be able to close 50% of your business. So if you miss this one, it's a big deal. If you got a proximity or an eventually, remember, they think they're 6 months to a year out from doing this project, right? And all the stuff I have on this is what I want to talk about. I don't give a hell about the other slides. Because if we don't get this one right, we fail. We miss something in here, we fail, right? Because if I don't get that, if they give it up trying to fix it on their own, and do we agree these windows need to be replaced, it is more than that. If you walk up to the house and there's nothing wrong with the windows, you're looking at it, you don't see drywall damage, you don't see any of the things going around, right? But what about air infiltration? What about basically conduction? What about convection? Okay, what about the heating and cooling bill? What about basically the furnace turning on and off? What about the full flared school leading directly outdoor in the home when they got a brick missing out of the house? You can look out door to your neighbor's house, how long would it take you? If you can look right out the wall of the neighbor's house, how long would it take you to fix it? Not, would it take you long to fix? No, you have to put enthusiasm. You're on freaking stage. They're buying you. The pain, oh my God, John, here, look, you got a little bit of stuff going on here on the edges. That's like a wet rag. For you, in order to get to see this on the inside, how long do you think that's been happening before that was a problem? Right? Do you think it just happened yesterday or a week from now? Or this might have been happening the last couple of years. Now you got a wet rag in here, right? If I take a wet rag, and the more water gets on it, because the water's never going to stop, right? That wet rag gets on, the water's going onto it. Eventually, a wet rag holding enough water to what? Rips. And our friends on Corning, they tell you only take 3% moisture, tell the insulation to class by a third. If you're not lighting their ass on fire, then guess what? On the inside and outside of that Owens Corning stuff is paper, which is organic material. Guess what likes to grow on organic material? In warm, moist, dark areas. Right? Warm, moist, dark areas. Okay? Let me ask you, when's the last time you pulled your furnace filter out? It was the same color as it was when you put it in. What do you think that stuff's going into? John Mary, your house is falling apart. John Mary, you need to get these windows replaced. You've been dealing with this for 8 years. You told me 8 years when I walked in the house because I did my effing job. Right? 8 years. So what's going to change between now and another week? Well, the fact is, you haven't been paying attention to your thing. John Mary, you got situational awareness. You're so used to living in the damn environment you live in, John Mary. I might not say that word to him. You guys so used to living in the environment that you live in that you don't even realize how bad it is. And if you're not going to save the extra money now, then you're just not going to do a project and you're going to have to pay the consequence, right? If you don't light them on fire, they're not going to do anything. Your job is not to pet their windows. Your job is to do an outside and inside inspection and find the problem. If there's a crack in the wall, John and Mary, surface tension. On the outside here, surface tension is going to grab a hold of, right? You know, they say basically water can make it through a small exposed nail on a roof. See that gigantic roof? One small little nail exposed on that roof can create a leak. You've got a gaping hole, a crack, sitting here on your stucco, right? As shown right in the PowerPoint, the water is designed to run back behind it, right? The only thing really protecting it is the paper. And John and Mary, if we don't protect the paper and stuff gets back there before too long, how's that going to be a problem? John and Mary, let me take my 1 foot level that cost me $2 at Harbor Freight, and let me show you how if I put this level on top of your steel here in 3 different places, that thing is racked, it's twisted. It's not operating the way it should be doing, right? I look at my level down here, John and Mary, does it look square? If I've got a gutter and it's on a square, right? If you grade a gutter 16 an inch, the water's going to flow in the way the gutter wants to flow, right? A 16th of an inch. Is that water's graded the other way or it's humped in the middle and it's no longer doing what it needs to be doing? Where's that water going to run to? Where it's grading towards. So again, if I were to take another window and shove it over top of a broken gutter, have I fixed it? Have I fixed the problem? Or have I created a bigger problem? And currently, you've got mold growing in your sill. Your tracks. You've got things that are going on here, John, that need immediate attention. Look at me. See the passion coming out? If you don't get into it, if you don't own it, your paycheck's going to prove it. You've got to get your ass excited in the house. You have to be believable. You've got to get it. When I'm in a house, it's just like this. Mike, what did we try to sell? A freaking wall right here with no roof. I spent 2.5 hours in there fighting my ass off for a job that we shouldn't have sold anyway. Guess what? Because I wanted to show them you can make something happen out of nothing. You can make something happen out of nothing. I could do that with a freaking wall with no roof, with a patio cover built over the side, freaking dirt inside of it, outside. They don't speak English. I spent 2.5 hours sitting there grinding it out because guess what? I knew I could almost get them. And at one point, I thought she was walking in for a credit card. But I took her to the point because the wall was rotted out. And if I would have done a good inspection, I wouldn't have found it. You're not there to pet their windows. You're not there to just measure openings and give prices. You're not order takers. You have to become an expert because the first real major step, that's the difference between $300,000 a year and 100. Let me repeat that. Have your attention now. That's the difference between $300,000 a year and 100. And 100 in San Diego is like 50. Okay? 100's crap. You're at 100 grand, it's nothing. You want to make 300? Put in the effort. Become a man. Give yourself the ability to do it. Use a picture. I was playing around with Dan. I said, well, here, do this. You're having a problem, especially on a proximity. Take a picture of destruction of a window leaking. Something happened into that. You can steal my story because it really did happen. John and Mary, hey, you right. Oh my God, the last house I was at. I felt so sorry for these people. They had to replace replacing windows that are 4 years old, right? I just got to get this out my chest so we get started today. See this? These are 4-year-old windows. How would you feel if something like that happened? I get sick and tired of seeing this because every day we specialize in replacing windows, John and Mary. Every freaking day. Every day. It makes me sick to my stomach that people like yourself have to get taken advantage of. And guess what? Because they thought they wanted to buy on a cheap price. Now today, you guys seem like type people, especially seeing that picture, they want to do it right the first time and not do anything at all, right? Guess what? How many people were in training this week? There's a few, right? Training is offered every freaking week, Wednesday and Thursday. Whether I offer or not, you ask me for individual training, I will make sure I'm there. But you have to come in for training because if you don't care, I don't care. Make sense? You're not calling me and asking me for help. I can't help you if you don't want to be helped. There's so much stuff I have to give, so many tools and techniques. When you're slumping, I can tell in 2 seconds what's going on and figure it out. Okay? It doesn't take long. If I have to, we can't figure it out, I'll ride in the car with you for 2 freaking weeks. I don't care. We'll figure it out. Need. Make sense on how big that is? If I get here and they told me that they're really not that bad and they're going to put them off for a couple more years, well, if I did my job here, is that happening? I can take them right back to it again, right? Everything works together. Everything works together. It's a system, right? You can manage a system and a process. You cannot manage chaos. And if you're not getting your commitments and your steps, you have a chaotic presentation. You want to know why you're not as successful and making as much money as you want to? You're chaotic. Even if you're getting them, which I know I've been on a couple ride-alongs, I've yet to see anyone and get all of them. Okay? So if you're not getting them, you at least need to get this one. That makes sense? Somebody's 6 months to a year out. What I want you to ask yourself is, right? Rewind your last 3, last 4, last 10, last 15 appointments. What the hell did you do? If they told you they're 6 months to a year out, what the hell did you say? What the hell did you do? What pictures did you take that took them from 6 months to today? How good were you? Or just check a box and in employment knowledge and sold. That's bullshit. That means that's an excuse you're buying yourself that is not going to allow you to make as much money as you want to. That's one of those self-limiting beliefs, right? So again, if it talks to you, it resonates, it's designed to do that for a reason. Because this is helping you make money. See the pile of money? Once I get all these, there's your pile of money. Okay? But I got to get the pile, I got to get all those before I get my pile of money. Right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. Think about that. Well done. I love that. All right, company resolution. I need to explain why in an industry where 96% of all contractors fail in the first 2 years, 80% of people take the cheapest bid, had big problem completed. 98% of people out there subcontract all the work to be done. You know, basically, there's trades, there's all kinds of things that have to come into play through here. Why are they trusting Green Star Remodeling over anybody else? Why are you different? Right? Why are you different? Why are you unique? And why are you the answer? In a problem that they've been dealing at their house on 8 years, Why are you the company that's gonna take care of the problem that they've been dealing with for 8 years? Oh, if something just clicked in there, you start realizing that everything in your whole presentation ties right back to this right here. Everything in your whole presentation ties back to that right through there. Why are you relevant to their current situation? Not why you're the cheapest price. Anybody can sell on price. That's why Window World has order takers. That's why they pay $8 a window. Because you don't have to be talented to sell that window. You could be an order taker. When you're selling something that's not a commodity, right? And how do I prevent myself from being a commodity? I have to do it here. If not, I am a price and a name that'll sit on their table waiting for them to make a decision. So again, when I get my company solution, at the end of it, when I say, guys, would you feel 100% confident, trusting Dreamstar and Molly to do the work for you? That's after I've laid in all the concerns and needs. If you're not questioning if you got it right, before you start your company presentation, when guys, you're going to let go $1 of your hard-earned money that you're going to trust with the company, what type of things have to happen for basically that company to earn your trust? So again, if you're going to spend $1 of your hard-earned money to trust a company with a project like this, what are the things you've got to let go of that they need to do so that way you'll give the trust? And hopefully the slides are built out so that way it does. And you can position yourself and talk about the things like you heard today, and the things that you know, and the things during the inspection that you pulled out that's going to make you unique enough to be that solution. That makes sense? This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Resolution, which is what our today's message is going to be. Now, Scott spent a lot more time going over that, so I don't want to break into groups. But your resolution should not be determined on just how pretty our window is, how much better, what a great job the glass pack's going to do. Well, why in the hell is the glass pack relevant to their need? Why is basically the window and what it's trying to accomplish relevant to what you're trying to help them with? Why is the installation method relevant to their situation in their house? Not why is it just so much better than everybody else's? That has nothing to do with anything. Why is it relevant and why is it the need to have happen when this project's done? And why would it be ignorant, if not stupid, to do it any other way? Because what's going to happen? John and Mary, my 1 foot level, sit down here telling me that that thing's all cattywampus. It's out of shape. It's right now collecting dirt without anything on it. It's got mold in it without covering it up at all. Does that sound like a great idea to just cover that up and caulk something over the top of it? If your gutter's broken, John and Mary, do you want to take your gutter down or put a new one inside of it? It's not hard, it's common sense. But you got to explain it to a customer so the light clicks on. If the light's not clicking on, then you're just an overexpensive option. Then you hear at the end of it, well, I really don't know if I want Sandy because you didn't do a good enough job selling the why. Make sense? You didn't do a good enough job selling the why. So I would eventually, right here, revert back and figure out if I reverse engineer where I broke down, where the breakdown happened. Next, after I get my resolution commitment, so I've gone through, talked about why the installation method, the system is going to correct the fundamental reasons about why their current window is not going to be a solution in the future. Why that needs to be taken out, why the frames need to be cut out and reflashed. Right? If I don't bring that up during my resolution piece, then again, all I'm doing is selling windows. And if you're selling windows, again, just like I said a year ago today, when I sit on stage at that little Hyatt Regency place, nobody's pretty enough to be Vanna White. Okay? But again, we look at it, you have to make sure you get those commitments. And at the end of it, if you don't ask this question and you don't have clarity, then you don't deserve the business anyways. If you're too scared to ask this, again, you don't deserve the business anyways. John and Mary, hey, based on what we dealt with, what we looked at on the inspection, we did determine the sanitary class was the method that you want to use, but it doesn't come time, right? We did talk about the colors, choices, options, and choices that are available for you today. We did pick out all those that were important, right? You did like black on black, white on white, whatever the color might be. So is there anything we left off that was important to you? Oh, the sun defense. Yep. We did include the sun defense glass because again, in the back of the house where you're getting baked like a toasted cheese in back there, you said made the room almost unusable.
Remember the room almost unusable, I think were the words you used? Basically, that took care of that problem right there too. Would you agree? So when it comes time, is there anything else that you'd be looking for in a window system that we haven't designed for you today? So it sounds like we got it pretty much pegged out. So it's safe to say when it comes time, this is the window system you do want, need for the home? Boom, drop. There is nothing left to go. There's no wiggle room. You've got them. Is it a tough question to ask? If you didn't do your job, absolutely. But if you did your job, you're clarifying, right? You're active listening. You're figuring out, making sure that, hey, I'm throwing it out, and we pick the right color, the right choices, right options, right installation method, everything that you're looking to have accomplished on the house. Do we have your fix? Yes. Is there anything else? No. So that's it, nothing else? Great. Sounds like to me when it comes time, this is the window system you do want, need for the house. Wow, it is. Thank you very much. By the way, John and Mary, let me go to my pre-close. So sounds like to me, besides price or payment, there's really no reason we can't run your business today, right? If they answer yes to here, that's your deal to lose. That is your deal to lose. That is a yes or no, not a maybe, not I'll call you in a week, not I'll see you next year. No, not I'm gonna wait till we refinance our house budget. No, they just gave you permission at yes or no to dig in. If you don't have your cleats on, your spikes aren't dug in, you're not ready to basically start driving at that point, then you've got the wrong mindset. That is your deal at that point to get a yes or no answer. No be-backs. Because again, they gave you permission with saying, yes, there's nothing besides price or payment to not have a be-back. Anything but a yes or no, you got knifed out of the house. Repeat that. Everybody look at me in the eyes real quick. I want to look at everyone's eyes. Anything but a yes or no here, if you get yes, you got knifed out of the house. Make sense? Anything but a yes or no here, you got knifed out of the house. And whose fault is it if you get knifed out of the house? Yours. So again, that is a step so far, right? That is a step so far. And I promise you, you do this, these right here, just like I talked about, you're a 40% plus closer. Promise you. All day long. All day long. All day long. You miss one of these, you probably cut your basic close percentage by 15%, 10%, 15%, 5%. Whatever you want to do. You've left gaping doors open. My commitment to value. Again, only the weak shy here. Only the weak shy here. If you're scared of your value, you did a shitty job in your needs. You did a shitty job in your company. You did a shitty job with the resolution. But if you can't look at them in their face and know that you're worth every penny that you design and ask for, then you failed somewhere. Again, if you're scared here, timid salesmen have skinny children. It's okay. You can be weak. It's all right. Got to start somewhere. Admitting is number one. Again, John and Mary to take care of all the problems you call us out here today. The cracks and the stucco, basically this, the damaged tracks, because again, we put the level down there. Remember, it was all jacked up and offset. We knew that wasn't a possibility to keep that in, so we had to take the whole thing out, start over like we did as the house was being built. Make sure we reflash the whole opening after we cut out the old frame. Got all that together. Not to mention basically correct the stucco that we saw on the outside of it was cracking apart because obviously the window's not doing what it needs to be doing. So we can protect the paper and the other things. Put the smart sun defense glass, in the back of the house, making sure that basically we're protecting the carpet and all the different things in the back where you said that room was literally unusable. John and Mary, you know, we did say that everything we got in there, not to mention having our own employees out here doing the work, no subcontractors taking care of it. Can you see how we hold 32,436 as only 32,436 is a good value to take care of the project in the house? Again, we're correcting everything you told us out here today. We're going to take a look at and what we found on the inspection. Can you see how 32,436 is a good value to take care of the project in the home? That means shut your mouth. It's their time to answer. Their time to go. We're not answering statements. We're not answering statements at this point now. Oh shit, that's a lot of money. Of course it is. Oh hell, that's more money than I expected to see. Of course it is. Wow, that's just a lot of project. Of course it is.
Guess what? You did your job though, because you price impressed it in here. They didn't do this, right? Oh, get the fuck out. Get out, walk in the other room. If they dig in here, and don't ask you to leave, they're asking you how to buy. Remember, you should be excited when you get that yes to this. I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that freaking price. No, I'm not doing it. Of course you're not. But why would they sit there and dig in with you if they're not interested? Think about that. Why would they sit in there and dig in if they're not interested? Commitment to values are big. So John, obviously, I know it's a lot more than expected, which is why I said what we found on the inspection too, over what you just called me out for today. And it took all that stuff, it took care to take care. Remember, we can't just set it on top of the frames like your other three estimates. If we could, it'd be a lot less money, wouldn't it? But can you see with everything we have to do, how we hold that a good value? Can you, Mary? Can you, John? Now, I'm not asking you to pay it, because you didn't call it emotional discount, right? Probably the best one I've ever seen. That's gonna save you a total of 25% off, which is what our last month's anniversary sale is. Taking it down $8,436 of the project, taking it all the way down to $27,436, what will our salary company do over the account at 60 months at $433 a month, or take advantage of 12 months away from the program. Let me ask you, when it comes time, which one of these two would you take advantage of? At this point, now it's about isolating. We have to isolate that objection. We do not want to be solving an ocean. We don't want to be solving an ocean. We're solving an ocean. I've got nowhere to go. I'm guessing at what the objection is going to be. I'm guessing. And again, if you did your job before and we asked what? Anything besides?
Price or payment that's gonna keep you from moving forward today.
So again, if we isolate and we're down now, is it the price or is it the payment? What is it? If it's the price, or is it the payment? They say, well, you know, it's kind of both. Again. So they ask you, are you in a position where you could pay cash for this project? My favorite line. Are you in a position where you could pay cash for this project? And they say, not at this time. Okay? So it sounds like to me you'd go with the $434 a month. Let me ask you, how much is that out of your budget? Were you thinking $375, $400? What were you thinking? I don't need to dive in and get dug into their lives. Don't get dug into their lives and let them take you down a rabbit hole you can't win. If they tell you you're not in a position to pay cash for it, start selling out of payment. Let me ask you, $375, $400, what is it to be a little more affordable for you? Well, probably like $350. Whatever it is, now you've got it dug in. Now you've picked the path and you can stick to it, right? One of the things we did on the other three is we had to pick what box they would want, right? It's no different. Zero difference. No difference. You're having them pick, do they want to pay a payment or do they want to do a no interest, no payment program? They want to do a payment or a no interest, no payment program. Nothing's changed. Zero. Zero has changed. The only thing that changed is so it looks a little different on the screen. So again, we have to get them to connect. Are they doing it? Are they doing a monthly investment program or are they doing a no interest program? When they tell you basically it's about $375 a month or $350 a month, or basically we take advantage of 12 months no interest, no payment program. Great. Sounds like to me when you go ahead and do the project, that's the way you're going to do it. Would you agree? Yes, it is. That and nothing else. It's isolated, right? If I don't isolate there, I'm trying to solve a bunch of stuff I can't control. Then next thing you know, if you just start going down the rabbit hole, then they're going to start throwing everything but the kitchen sink at you, trying to give you every excuse to nice you out of the house because you haven't found a way to make it affordable for them yet. This is all psychological. Everything we deal with is psychological. You're in their brain. Guess what? Now they've been sitting down here for the last 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Guess what they forgot about at the window? Their pain, the problems, the reasons they're there. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to take a break here, get them up and go revisit the pain again because it's not fixing itself. We have to make sure we're holding their feet to the fire because they gave us this commitment. They've given up trying to fix it on their own and they need to get it replaced. They're 100% confident, trust in the company. Basically, we know we've got the right color solution and everything else, and there's nothing besides price or payment, and they've committed that our value is worth it. Where in the hell else are they gonna go? What excuse are you gonna buy? Right? Well, I think we're gonna refinance our house. You know, we're really looking at whether we're gonna pull it out of an equity loan, we're gonna do this. That's all full of shit. They would talk about it at the very beginning. That's another way for them to knife you out of the house. But I'm a little confused, John, right? Because you tell me sometimes price payment. So what you're telling me, the 434 is just a little bit outside your budget, right? So again, it's a 375, 400. Take it right back to the solution again. Don't let them take you down a rabbit hole. Get it back on there. Mike, what I did latest. No, I said you're making an issue out of nothing. That's not an issue. The issue is how you're going to pay for it. Sometimes you got to be just as direct with them as they are with you in a nice way. Thanks for being so open and honest with me. It's okay if I'm just as direct with you. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. You know, when nice people like yourself tell me they want to think about it, it really means two things, right? They haven't found the product, company, or warranty that fits in their budget, or the price they're willing to pay, right? So can I ask you, is it the investment or the monthly investment? And if you're too weak to dig in here, then you're missing something. You're either leaving something out in your presentation where you're not confident to know that the only thing left between you and the pile of money is isolating that objection. And not giving a discount yet, isolating that objection and finding out what the true objection is before we give it. This is a gift. This is a gift. This is to save us time and money. This is a gift. This is where the work is done. This is where the work is done. And if you're not isolating and finding out the only reason why you're not moving forward, the only reason, that and nothing else, you're leaving it off the table. And when you find his price, I get his price. Was it the monthly payment or was it the overall investment? Overall investment, well, great. My next question, did you get your value commitment? Then that's not relevant. Tell me what else it was. Were they scared their credit sucked? Did you not eliminate that and say, down there, I understand, it sounds like to me you're just a little nervous about what the credit part looks like. Let me explain to you what the next steps are. Right? We go ahead and fill out a credit application. We have an internal finance director, which is going to help shop your loan, make sure we get you the best, basically, approval rate that we can. You know, the nice thing for you, we do $125 million a year. Basically, over 65 to 70% of that is done through our finance company. If we can't get you done, John Mary, no one else can. So again, are you a 10? Is your credit like a 9 or 10? Or are you basically a 4 or 5 like mine? Normalize it. You know, we have a situation, a customer just like yourself, right? They're so happy they got approved, but the one thing it does takes effort. And we know that they need to be replaced, and you're done fixing them on their own. You're gonna let me help you, aren't you? Here, I just go ahead and need you to fill this. We can get you approved. We can welcome you to Dreamstar Model. Don't get niced out of the house. Nicing out of the house is basically, that's just a weak way of saying you just wasted 2.5 to 3 hours of your time. 4 hours of your time. That make sense? This helpful? Then after you get this, then we talk about our cost savings program, initial business savings. We don't give it, then take it back, then we look like idiots. Then everything we talked about that whole time's a lie. If you show 3 prices up front, you're a moron. You're an idiot. Here's why, because you think you're gonna entice them with just a lower price. That's not gonna happen. They don't know what the price is. They're gonna buy it this if they're gonna buy it that. Don't just give it and basically try to hook them into it. Because when you gotta take it away, then you know what you're gonna be? You're gonna be at the showroom next Saturday waiting for them to show up to move forward on that business, and they're not gonna show up, you just wasted a lead. Right? Because guess what? You got niced out of the house. Because you didn't give to get. It's happened to everybody. I see head shaking. Happened to me. I've been nice out of the house. I can't tell you. I've learned all the dumb tax for you guys, right? I'm trying to teach you guys what not to pay. So when you look at it, this is it. I bought some lies before. I think we all have. But the problem is you have to remind yourself, and I got to remind you, that if you get that yes here, and they give you a yes here, that is your deal. You've earned that order. The only way you didn't earn it is if you didn't sell the payment and you didn't isolate the objection. At that point, that's your fault. Because they already told you something besides price or payment, so it's not that hard to isolate. Again, they told you something besides price or payment, so it's not that hard to isolate. If they start pulling 3 estimates up, guess what? I've already told you they're 100% comfortable here, and they've given up trying to fix it on their own, right? And you've got the right color, choices, solutions, everything else. What else would they be looking for besides the cheaper price? And that's where we take it back to the 96% of contractors. So I'm sharing with you, there's no way out. This is the web. The web all ties to money. You want to make more money? Anyone in here want to make less money? You realize that results, you are the reason why you've always been successful. You are the reason why you've always been successful or not. That's it. The lessons that you're getting taught in here will stay with you the rest of your life. Repeat that. The lessons you get in here will stay with you the rest of your life. Where in the hell else can you go make as much as a basically surgeon and all you're doing is helping people with windows and doors? Where else can you go and make that kind of money and work the hours we work in the limited amount of time in front of customers and be able to take time off if you want to take time off and have this schedule and only have to do this? If I would have learned this a long time ago that I didn't really need to go to college for it, I probably would have submerged myself into it. Because there's a lot of money to be made here, and your opportunity and upside is so big. So big. Especially in Southern California. People have money here to spend. People have options. You have great products. You got great processes. We have our own employees. They have their own liaison. You got a Scott Shank. You got basically myself. You got all the tools you need. All the tools you need. It's just you got to use them. Make sense? All right. Hopefully that sunk in. We talked about not getting nice out of the house. The last thing is give to get. Give to get. You have an opportunity. You have an opportunity. Repeat that. You have an opportunity to expand your business by 4 people every time you walk into somebody's house, whether you sell it or not. Whether you sell it or not. Repeat that. Whether you sell it or not. If you did a massive presentation and they told you they're 100% confident, trusting you to do the work for them, right? Because you are in the house, and then you found their need and solution and been way more thorough than anyone else, not very hard, even if you don't sell it. Repeat that. Even if you got nice out of the house, there's a nice guy out of the house, right? So get to get, if I'm getting out of your house, what do you give me in return? Right? So again, if I get nice out of the house, John and Mary, everybody knows 4 people, whether it's friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, relatives, possibly interested in windows and patios, right? And I know yourself, we weren't the right fit for you, but you probably know somebody, whether it be a mom, a friend, a family member, something like that, that might benefit from something we do today, right? So I'm not saying right now, but could I go ahead and earn at least 4 names from you? So would you be kind enough to give this? This is how I feed my family. It's how I take care of it. So even though, yes, I'll be fine tomorrow, even if you don't get happily involved with me, I would definitely appreciate the opportunity to talk to some of your friends or family. And if I promise to do the same job I did for you today, you're not going to keep me a secret, are you? So what would be the one name I could get from you now? And once I prove I take care of them, you feel comfortable giving me more, especially if I throw a little cheddar your way if something ends up happening with the project, right? Think about it. Are you maximizing your full potential? Are you maximizing your efficiency? Are you maximizing your lead flow? Are you doing everything you can do to be successful? Or are you waiting for it to fall in your lap? That makes sense? Helpful stuff? Kind of realize where maybe we might be missing a few things? Okay? Don't get nice out of the house. I promise you, that be-back bus is a lonely one. When you're waiting for the check to ring and basically it's coming up Friday or you need to make a sell and get that thing turned in by noon. And basically you're waiting for that phone to ring. You're on the bat phone saying, come on. I know you're going to call. You told me you were going to call today. I know you're going to, right? Come on. You know what we used to do when I first started? We had a phone that wasn't connected, and you just set it on the table. And we called the be-back phone. Because that's what the be-back phone was about. There's nobody ever going to be on the other end.
You can get out there, go knock on a couple doors and make something happen, or you can sit by the phone and wait for them to nice you. Right? All right. So with that said, good stuff? All right. So again, we got half a month left. So again, we're at the final four of basically the contest, which, congratulations everybody that's there. Again, every appointment, remember, if we get our pre-close, right? Nothing besides. Today, okay? And then they give you the value commitment. How many times should you walk away without a deal? 0. That is your deal to lose. So again, go in there and realize if you've done all that, you've earned the business. It is yours to lose. You have earned the business. It is yours to lose. There is at least $420 sitting there of your money based on what our revenue per lead is. There's at least $420 to $480 of your money that's sitting there waiting for you to get. Your money is there. You've earned it. So whether you're going to leave it on the table because you get knifed out of the house, or you're going to get what you deserve. All right. Who do they think going to beat San Diego? Have a good day, guys. Put it in your notes.
I put it in the.
FTY 1037 is the numbers given to me at Pay Center way back in the day. So that's
In other words, for Dustin.
Thanks, Dustin. That was awesome.
all right. Hey, good job, guys. You have a great rest of your day. Go sell some, all right?
I will.
I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
Thanks.
So, Dustin,
Yes.
Dutch door, 0 off.
We don't do Dutch
I know. but-
I've already lost 3.